Others start the semester on a porch to show off. You start the semester flying on a magic sword in a discreet way just because you are the only nascent soul cultivator on the blue planet. When Gao Man graduated, you came to explore the desolate mountains. You accidentally entered the world of cultivation through an ancient teleportation circle. Due to your mediocre skills, it took you exactly 2,000 years to advance from one stage to the nascent soul stage. You became the founding ancestor of a sect that can confront others. At that time, the old teleportation circle was activated again. You were about to return to the blue planet to take a look, but you were ambushed by a group of mysterious people. When you opened your eyes again, you realized that you had suffered a serious injury, and your dantian was torn. Your clothes had also changed to those of your time from high school. It turns out that in the world, 2,000 years had passed since the cultivation era. The blue planet had only been a summer. At that time, your Nokia in the backpack started to sound. You answered it and heard the voice of a woman screaming, "Little bunny, where have you been? It's been a month without answering the phone. This is killing my mom." Out of anxiety, you hear the familiar voice of your mom. You can't help but get your view clouded over. Has been 2,000 years in the cultivation world, and your parents have already become a distant memory. You smile as you begin to walk back slowly. "Mom, it's great to be able to hear your voice again," you say. "Son, what are you saying?" "Sean will soon begin university. Remember to go quickly to King's to look for your Aunt Yao. Mom has a pair of things to do, so I won't say more." After hanging up the phone, you let out a bitter laugh. Letting a strange old man from the stage of the nascent soul go to university. It's just this funny. When you think about it, you get an idea. But due to your destroyed dantian, you can't absorb spiritual energy from heaven and earth quickly. You fall back to the ground. It seems that only you can walk off the mountain. In a cafe near the station, King's train, two young girls have already been waiting here for a while. Susuyan Yan frowns and complains, "I really don't understand. There are so many people in the company. Why does Mom insist on coming to pick up this boss of yours? Don't you think Aunt Yao would want to pair you two?" Zhao Tang responds, "What you're talking about is nonsense. A redneck who comes from a small county. How can my mom notice him?" A male voice, soft as wine, comes from behind them. "You are Aunt Yao's daughter, Susuyan?" The two girls were immediately surprised. "You are Ishan?" Susuyanyan watched you closely, noticing you were dirty, untidy, and wearing an old hiking backpack. Her disdain made it clear. "Where is the handsome one? We're really talking about this? I have to go have dinner with this peasant." Susuyan had an idea and smiled as she pointed to her friend Xiaotong. "That's right, she is Susuyan." After saying that, he whispered in her ear, "He is a pro in the world of martial arts. I'll give you 3 lipsticks at JCHI later." You heard everything clearly from one side. However, you didn't pay a lot of attention to it. You rubbed your belly. It's not that you're hungry, but you felt the loss of spiritual energy within you. You could not avoid sighing. You didn't expect that you, a cultivator at the nascent soul stage, would one day have to depend on eating worldly food to maintain your strength. You left the cafe with Susuyanyan, a keychain pressed in your hand, and a Porsche Panamera not far from there made a sound. He spoke as if he were bragging about it. "That's not a good car," you nodded, absent-minded. "It's fine, but it's a bit slow." Hearing this, he became discouraged. "Excuse me, what vehicle do you have?" You answered casually, "I don't have a car or a seat. Generally, I travel above the clouds and fog. From time to time, I also fly on a magical sword." When she heard your words, Tang burst out laughing immediately. "Mate, you've read too much about cultivation of immortality." Susuyan rolled her eyes. "If you think my car is slow, then take a taxi yourself. Let's see who is faster." You had a disinterested expression. Okay, Susuyan was a little surprised to see that you dared to accept the challenge. "You're sure? Let's go eat at Jinai Mall in the west of the city. It's about 6 or 7 kilometers from here. Whoever loses will have to invite. If you want to compete, compete." Hearing this, you accept. Susuyanyan smiled, beaming. She stepped on the accelerator and pulled out of the station. Shortly after, you became a shadow and disappeared so fast that not even the surveillance cameras were able to capture it. Cultivators of the nascent soul stage move between cities without needing to use spiritual energy at all. They only need to use the strength of their feet. In less than 2 minutes, your figure appeared at the center of Yintai shopping mall in the west of the city. Of those 1.5 minutes, you spent asking for directions. In 5 minutes, the two girls ran to door number 1 of Yintai City. It was Susu Yanyan and Xiao Teng. The two girls, sure of their victory, laughed and shook hands without knowing that, at that moment, you had already started asking for directions in the 5th-floor restaurant. This took more than 10 minutes before the two girls arrived at the restaurant. When they saw you, they both gasped. Open, EH? When you arrived, it's been a while, you said. After a while, I saw them so slow I went up to ask myself. Miss, I asked, there are many things that you won't back down from. Truth be told, Susu Yanyan was a little surprised and then laughed coldly. You talk nonsense. How could it be so fast? You must have cheated, right? Our route of navigation was the shortest, for sure. You called first to notify the restaurant that it would prepare the food, and you took advantage of the fact that we were waiting for you to sneak up. You shook your head with resignation. You had no more remedy than calling the waiter as a witness. 2 beautiful women this boy arrived 15 minutes ago. He Tang still doesn't believe it. 15 minutes ago? I was still walking near the northern train station. Can you perhaps fly? Forget it. Xiao Teng, let him win a meal. Susu Yanyan doesn't feel like discussing this anymore. She has already classified you in her mind as a calculating boy. I was originally thinking of being your friend. Now it seems that we won't even be able to be friends. But when Susu Yanyan came to the private room, she was completely left stunned to see the table full of plates. Flake shark fin, fire fillet, snow cucumber soup, papala with a nest of swallow, Eastern snapper steamed, and even a dish called Buddha's jump. She could not help but be amazed. What's happening? I went to the wrong room, she said. The waiter gestured toward her. This gentleman asked for everything. Upon hearing this, Susu Yanyan almost explodes with rage and fan. You are a pig. Why do you want to do me this on purpose? You shrug your shoulders innocently. I already told you that I have a big appetite. If you don't want to invite, no problem. I will pay myself. It is not necessary. Susu Yanyan accepts the defeat. After saying that, he took out a black card with diamonds and gave it to the waiter. The card machine indicated that the total was 5,002. Please, do not appear in front of me again, thanks. Susu Yanyan dropped these words and pulled Hyun Tang and left. 5,000 is nothing. For the young lady, it means nothing. The important thing is that she thinks that you, this idiot, are bothering her on purpose. She, Susu Yanyan, since elementary school until college, was always the center of attention, the goddess in the hearts of countless boys. Her family considers her their greatest jewel, precious. When has she endured this humiliation? After the two girls left, you started to enjoy the food. After tasting each dish several times, you exclaimed, "The flavor is not bad. There's not even a bit of bad in it. The smell is like chewing wax." You took a breath. Oh, I'll have to eat this kind of thing in the future. Susu Yanyan was swearing all the way while they were walking, while Yan Tan's stomach was growling with hunger. She asked in a tentative manner, "Why don't we go back and have something to eat? Anyway, you paid." Susu Yanyan suddenly remained silent. You are right, it is my money. Why shouldn't I eat? She barely turned around to return from, suddenly a boy approached. The boy showed an expression of surprise and smiled at her. What a coincidence, you two are in the mall. Really, we have a destiny together. Susu Yanyan looked at the boy in front of her. In his gaze shone a subtle version of this boy. He is his third-year high school classmate. His family has power and influence. He is a real school bully and also one of her suitors. What are you doing here? Shen Chao hides passion in his eyes, trying to show a smile of a gentleman. Clearly, I have come to have fun. Sunyan, you haven't eaten yet, right? I know that there's a new French restaurant that opened. It has 2 Michelin stars. I have booked a table. Would you like to please join us? Susu Yanyan noticed the peculiarity in his expression, pulled at Jian Tang, and wanted to leave in a hurry. But Jian Tang had a mischievous idea. Suyan, why don't we let Chen Yao come with us? With your personality, he will surely face Yi Han. In that moment, we will just sit to one side, and we will see the show. Wouldn't that be very funny? Su Suyan's eyes sparkled with amusement. You are slightly right. Why didn't I think that before, Zhao Tang? You really are a clever... Su Yanyan turned around and gave Chen Chao a stiff smile. Chao, how about I invite you to dinner? Chen Chao thought he was hallucinating, while holding back his emotion, asked clearly, where are we going to eat? Meanwhile, you are enjoying great food at the restaurant. A moment later, Chen Zhao followed the two girls to the reserved. Hyun Tong was surprised and exclaimed, "My God, boss! You were born in the year of the pig, you can eat so much." Su Suyan also opened her eyes with surprise, because she had left only a moment, and already more than half of the more than 30 dishes at the table had been consumed. You stopped eating and said, "You didn't leave? Why did you come back? What a joke. I paid the bill, I did something bad when I come back to eat, what do you care?" At that time, Qin Xiao pointed you with a confused expression. "Suyan, who is this boy?" "His name is Ifan. He is the son of my mom's best friend. Came Fran King's son on day 1 of this year. My mom asked me to pay a little attention to him." As Yantang had anticipated, the expression of Chen Xiao got dark immediately. "My friend, I'm telling you now, you're full. You grabbed a lemon chicken, you tear the chicken's leg off. You didn't pay attention, my friend? What if we don't do that? I'll give you 2,000 yungins. Go eat to another place." You took the lotus flower soup and you took a sip, and you said to yourself, "It lacks of salt." Xin Xiao got angry immediately and threw away the soup you had in the hands. When seeing this, Yantan smiled curiously. Then you stood up and took Xin Xiao's hair and put his face in a soup. Your hand was still, he couldn't move at all. While drowning, Susuyanya saw that everything was out of control and hurried to intervene, but you didn't move an inch. Of course you were holding back. You just wanted to give this thug a lesson and said, "Don't bother me while I'm eating." Then you went back to eating, but the amount of spiritual energy in these ingredients is very low, but at least you could regain a bit of energy. Kirksin Xiao fell on his knees with his face full of soup, and with fish spines all over his face. He was in pain, his eyes were filled with hate, but knew that he was no match for you, so he said, "Wait, you, if you are brave, don't leave." While you were eating, you responded with disinterest. "Okay, go and call someone." Chen Xiao went out, knocking on the door, just after leaving. Then, you called the waiter to pack the food. When Chen Xiao came back with other people, after changing clothes, he discovered that the three of you had already disappeared. Chen Xiao kicked the door and shouted angrily, "Ifan, you are a coward. This has not finished. I won't let you escape. I'll make you impossible to continue." The reason why you left is that you never considered Chen Xiao a threat. You got into Su Suyan's car. You arrived at the Rose Garden of the Green City. This is from the famous wealthy neighborhood of kings. Su Suyan looked at you in the rearview mirror. In her heart, defined you as a violent person. Soon, the car stopped in front of an independent villa. An elegantly dressed woman in her 40s. Su Suyan had been waiting there. Su Suyan got out of the car and quickly ran there. Her face looked full of helplessness. "Mom," she said, "the next time something like this happens, don't leave someone like that in charge of Mehdi, or you don't even know if this man is a violent one." The elegantly dressed woman shook her head. Hearing that Seo is a child, honest and upright, his love for sports is just superficial. Su Suyan hit the ground gently with her foot. HMPH, he only seems honest on the outside. In that moment, when you approached, you were holding a bag of takeaway food for Aunt Yao. "I haven't seen you in many years. You look more and more beautiful." "Why, Xiaofan?" Now he speaks so sweet. "Oh, just come. Why do you bring something else?" "Old Pao, come to help me for a moment." "Aunt Yao, Uncle Fan." "This isn't a gift. It's food, boss." "Packaging or from Aunt Yao's restaurant?" She was stunned for a moment, then smiled radiantly. "Saving food is a good boy. Xiaofan lives here. You must get along with Suyan. Treat her as if she were your sister." When she heard this, Susuyanyan suddenly shouted, "Mom, what did you say?" When Susuyanyan entered the room, upon seeing several big suitcases, she collapsed. "Mom, you're not serious, right? You let me live with this violent. How I'm gonna sleep at nights?" Susuyan quickly looked at Hang Tank, quickly convinced Mom. "Otherwise, we'll both be in danger in the future." Both families are old friends. Hyun Tang has been living with his wife since secondary school. The two are closer than sisters. Aunt Yao registered trademark. Both she, like me, we are girls. Suddenly, a boy came in. "Isn't it a little awkward?" Aunt Yao smiled slightly. "Aunt, trust in the character of Xiaofan." In that moment, you looked at the landscape of the yard, your eyes wandering. It seemed like you were looking for something you didn't care about. What happens to them at all? Su Suyan approached you and asked, "Come on, say something, don't you? You don't want to be silent like a mute, come to stay true?" But you only waved your hand and said with indifference, Here is very well. I want to stay, but I can't. Aunt Yao looked at your figure from behind with a smile on her face. She asked the butler of the Su Eni family, "What do you think?" He answered, "Madam, this boy really good, mature, and sensible." Hearing this, Su Suyan hugged the cushion and started crying. "How come you two defend this violent?" Aunt Yao called you out to the yard and warned, "Little one, I have spoiled this little girl of yours since she was little. You are the brother, so I know a little more understanding with her. This girl is not by nature like that. With time you will know." You nodded. Then you took something out of your pocket, about what you had just taken out of the suitcase. Inside, there was a thick pile of bills. You said seriously, "This is for the rent. I don't know if it will be enough. Aunt Yao, please consider." Seeing this, Aunt Yao became uncomfortable. Immediately, what a joke is this? Living in Aunt Yao's house and paying for it? Those who didn't know would think that you had cut the relationship with your mother. Give it back quickly. If not, Aunt Yao will get angry. You just saved it back anyway. It was just a courtesy. Aunt Yao smiled again. "Little fan, if you really care, then help him to the aunt, protecting her a little more at school. You also know Su Yan is cute and attracts boys. Your mom says that every day you are climbing mountains. Your body is well trained. You have many questions in your head. Su Yan is really so pretty. How can you actually not realize? The main reason why you chose to stay is that you discovered that the village is found in a spiritual eye with a spiritual energy so scarce in the blue planet. This time, the spiritual eye still retains some threads of spiritual energy. This is a rare place to get. After Aunt Yao left, you started walking around the yard. This independent villa is quite large. The house occupies more than 400 square meters. It seems that the family fortune is really amazing. At that time, Su Suyan arrived with a German Shepherd dog. She approached you with an intimidating attitude. "Farron, I don't care how you cheated on my mom, but you can't stay here. If you don't go, I'll release the black dragon to bite you." But you responded with something irrelevant. "In which room do I live? If no one assigns me a room, I will choose for myself." Su Suyan got angry. "Just let go of the dog's leash," points the finger at you. "Black dragon, go after him." The German Shepherd responded with an obedient growl, immediately came out running towards you. The next second, you just stared at the black dragon. The dog's legs stopped. He quickly fled without looking back, quickly got into his little house. From his pitiful howls, still came out of his mouth. Su Suyan points at you with her face full of disbelief. "You are a murderer. Of the contrary, how could the black dragon be scared of you? He used to be a military dog." The corner of your mouth healed into a radiant smile. You finally became a little more smart. Listening to your words, frightened, Su Suyan immediately threw the screaming dog leash. You came back running to the second floor, whistling. You returned to the village and lay down on the bed in the room that the butler had prepared. You looked at the ceiling in a trance state. Now, the palace of Miguan is destroyed, and the Dantian too. Both body and soul are broken, have suffered serious injuries. With such wounds, even in the small sky of the south, it would be difficult to cure them. Fortunately, you still have more than 8,000 years of life, so you can think of a solution little by little. After thinking for a while, you feel that you only have two options: search for the elixir to repair Miwan Palace on Earth, or find an opportunity to return to the small southern sky. While you were thinking about this, you suddenly felt the dream invade the wounds in your soul. They made your energy much higher, less than before. You slept until 9 o'clock at night. Su Suyan deliberately did not wake you up for you to eat. She even made sure that the maid would throw away the food that you had packed. There was no other choice, so you could only go out to look for food. On the second floor balcony, Yan Tang saw you leave and said, "Su Suyan, this guy left. Originally she wanted to take out your violent side. A good plan made you leave her house. Who would have thought that you wouldn't fall into the trap?" That made her angry, and puffed out his cheeks like two small baosi. "Then we will close the door tonight to make him sleep on the street." Outside, you slid up to near the university city. Here, there are many food streets. You randomly chose one lime and barbecue restaurant. You came in and ordered some barbecue without thinking, then you started reading an online novel while enjoying the skewers. The owner of the restaurant, a woman over 40 years old, and smiled to her daughter. "Look at this child. It seems thin and tall. He seems to have more, or at least your age. I wouldn't expect him to eat so much. He asked for more than 600 yuan in food. The daughter, Zhanggan, who was helping to select the vegetables on the side, was beautiful and charming, wearing an old high school uniform. She asked with curiosity, "Mom, are you not afraid that this is another scoundrel who eats the food without paying?" "Oh, how could it be? You come across several of those in a month. Most customers are honest and pay. It's not a couple of them. In a month, we have worked several days in vain." The owner of the business shook her head and sighed. "Forget it, Manhwa, there is nothing that can be done." Regarding this, that group of thugs said, "We can't mess with them." Mother and daughter, you heard what they said. But you kept an impassive expression. You continued reading the novel. It didn't take long when a group of people with hair dyed in various colors arrived at the grill. Immediately, the place became very noisy. Bangwan lit up when she saw this group. Frightened, she pulled at the owner's skirt from the restaurant. "Mom, they have come." To this, the owner of the restaurant quickly gestured for his daughter to go quickly and hide in the kitchen. At that moment, a gang member passed by you and kicked some chairs. His name is Mak Kun, nicknamed Brother Kun. He's a bully who charges for protection in this area. The restaurant owner, with a big smile, quickly brought the menu. "Brothers, look, what do you want to eat?" "The same of yesterday. Hurry up and bring the fast food." I frowned, feeling annoyed. It was just a bit noisy. You sealed your hearing with energy and continued reading the novel. Makun made a broad gesture with his hand, slapped the owner of the restaurant. "Sister May, you say that you still have some charm. What good has Suai Ko Ang? It's better to follow me, Makun. At least in this area of Suo Street, nobody dares to bother you. Isn't it right, brothers?" The 5 thugs started laughing. "Brother Makun, what are you talking about? I'm old and whitered, nobody would go after me. Wait a second, I'm going to the kitchen to prepare you extra fish." Makun made a gesture with his hand. He put his feet on the table and chatted with his friends. The conversation was really unpleasant. In the store, originally there were several clients, but now all of them fled in fear when they saw that the customers who left did not pay their bills. Bangwan, hidden behind the box, couldn't hold on any longer and ran outside, covering her face with her uniform sleeves. A blonde-haired boy pointed at Bangwan, who was running, and laughed, laughing out loud. "Brother Kun, look where a pretty little student came from." Hearing this, Makun turned around quickly. His eyes immediately sparkled again. Little brother said, "I think I have seen her before. Is the daughter of Lima? She usually studies at the Institute of the Southern City. Comes back every few months ago. I didn't expect that woman had such a beautiful daughter, and also sends us to study in the Southern City. Protects her as if we were thieves. Look, how am I going to conquer her in a moment?" Bangwan returned with a couple of bills of 100, but suddenly, a hand took them away. She immediately shouted, "What are you doing? Is my money? Give it back to me. Return it to you? How can you prove that this is your money? You call me an idiot?" Bangwan did not know how to answer. She could only look at you, who were at the table next to her. But you were enjoying a novel on your phone. You don't have the slightest intention to help her. Bangwan presses her lips together and glares at Makun. "That's my money. Give me the money, or I'm going to call the police." When he hears this, Makun smiled slightly without thinking. "Snatched your phone. Oh, you're going to call the police? Here, we'll lend you a phone. Are you going to try to call the police?" At that moment, Lime also saw her daughter, exposed to the gaze of bullies, with a tight heart, came forward quickly with a smile. "Brother Kun, we have already prepared almost everything. We can almost eat." Makon immediately raised his hand and slapped Lime. "What the hell are we going to eat?" "I'll tell you. From now on, every store in the Zoo Street will have to pay a fee of management of 4,000 yen each month. That is Brother Chow's intention." In that moment, Bangwan embraced Lime, crying. Lime, ignoring the wound on her face, said with terror, "Brother, you are stretching the bones. You're trying to cut our way to live. How am I going to pay 4,000 yen? You can't pay. So make your daughter recognize me like an adopted brother. So then, you will be my godmother. I promise that no one will dare to bother you on this street." "What you say, Sister May?" "Brother Kun, please leave us both alone. I'm kneeling before you." Bangwan is only 18 years old, has just been accepted into the King's University. Seeing this situation, you continue without showing emotion. You have lived more than 2,000 years. You have seen countless similar things in the world of cultivation. On Earth, at least, There are laws. In the world of cultivation, there really is nothing. If you like it, Tomas, if someone gets in the way, you kill him. If they say they will destroy a town, they will. They do not make anything ambiguous. Save? Is it possible to save? You get up, you shake off the butt, and you get ready to go. Ma'am, from the store, let's do the math. How much is it in total? Lai looks at you perplexed. Su Bangwan also feels that you are a very strange person, but still said, they were a total of 530 yuan. You take away the phone to Makun and get ready to scan the payment code, but this action infuriated Makun. He raised his hand and slapped you in the face and also said things. I told you to scan? You immediately grab his wrist and gently squeeze. Only a sound was heard. Makun's wrist bone cracked, broke instantly. He screamed in pain and fell to the ground, writhing. At the sight this, 5 thugs suddenly saw each other, threatening one by one. They raised their fists and attacked you. I frowned, somewhat impatient. You slapped them. That slap was lightning fast. You alternately hit the faces of the 5 bullies. Boom, boom, 5 hits immediately followed by spit on them. When Bangwan and Mei recovered sense, you were already gone. What you did before was something casual. You just wanted to go home and continue reading the novel. However, upon reaching the intersection, Sun Bangwan came running out of breath. She leaned on her sweaty knees in front of her. To you? You are an athlete? You opened your mouth in silence. If you want, thanking me for what happened before is not necessary. Sub Bangwan was stunned. She didn't know what to say at that moment. Goodbye. After saying that, you turned around and left. A long time ago. You were also a good young man with a good heart. When you saw an injustice and you took out your sword to help, but everything gets tiring with time. Some people you saved started to depend on you, and some even considered your help as something natural. Sub Bangwan returned to the store. He realized that the thugs of Makun, they all had twisted faces and decomposed. They got into the ambulance, limping. The mouths and necks of 6 people were severely dislocated. In addition, the bones were already molded, unless they are broken and reshaped. This situation is critical. And all this, I suppose, was your fault. I guess it's a little evil whim on your part. Maku not only had a crooked mouth and disfigured face, but also had rooster eyes, said with cursed fury. Yes, this is not over. After 10. You returned to the rose garden, slowly, carrying several large bags of vegetables. As soon as you took out the key and you entered twice, but discovered that the door was closed from the inside. You laughed coldly. And with a movement from the index finger, a thread of energy slipped into the lock. Then you opened the door, and silently you returned to the bedroom. This left Suyan and Hyantong shocked on the 2nd floor. After analysis, Suyan thought that segment you had called a locksmith? Little Tang, I don't care. You have to think of a way to get rid of this violent person. Otherwise, we will not be safe in the future. Hyantang, hurry up and use your brain. I've got it already. We will make him pay 10,000 for the rent monthly. He is only a student. He is surely out of money. Good idea. But 10,000 a month is too little. 20,000. The next day, the day of the start of classes, arrived at the university. An expensive car stopped in front of King's University, immediately attracting the attention of the crowd. Susuyan got out of the car. She had arranged herself with such care that her rate back to looks was almost 100%. You were carrying the phone and walking while reading a novel. From time to time yawning, not far away, a boy with a reflex camera hanging from the neck. He was looking at Susuyan. He was almost drooling. His name is Liai. It's the vice president of the photography club. Yudi approached Susuyan with a lewd smile. Hello, beautiful. Are you new? Susuyan looked at him immediately and didn't stop, rookie, don't get me wrong. We are from the photography club of the university. We specialize in photographing pretty boys and girls. I don't know if we would have the honor of taking a few photos of you. Let me show you the account that we have created. A large account with 1 million followers. Susuyan took a look, then take a couple of photos. It's okay, then a smile appeared on Linga's face. A few people arrived at the pavilion by the lake. They started taking beautiful photos. At first, everything was normal. They took a photo, and Yudi praised another. What kind of beautiful fairy has descended from the sky? In short, was all kinds of praise. But while they continued taking photos, Yudi asked for increasingly exaggerated poses. Susuyan angrily started yelling, "Are you crazy? Or what? I don't want to. After finishing speaking, she turned around to leave, but Yudi blocked her way. Okay, if you don't want to take photos, it's okay too. Hand over that money. What money? We've been here with you all day. No need to spend money. No, neither one of 500. Maybe you just took more than 100 photos. Please make the transfer to pay 500. Why not go and steal it? Was it clear that you asked me to take the photos? Yantan really felt upset. Su-yan, let's go, ignore them. Where are you going? Or we finished taking the photos, as I said. Otherwise, hurry up and get the money. Su-yan gave a little bump with her foot, ready to shout. Ludi's feet were lifted from the ground by someone from behind. He was thrown out with a loud bang, crashed into the column on the side left of the pavilion. The fall left him disoriented. Liu says he got up from the ground. Showing his teeth, he saw an unknown face. Yes, it was you who passed by. What are you waiting for? Go get him, kill him. But these club members, photography is just taking pictures and flirting. They don't have practice. I've seen your ability to lift someone with a hand. Would they dare to approach you? You approach Yu Li and kick him. You want to fight me directly? You kick Yu Li and make him bleed through the nose. He covers his nose and pulls back to the ground to shout. The other members of the Photograph Hada Club take a step back. Their faces turn pale with fear. If it were in the little kingdom of the south, you would have already gone crazy. You leave a strange phrase and turn around to leave. And so it was that Liang Yu was taken to the nursing room by some of his followers. Su-yan follows you from a distance. She whispers with curiosity. Definitely. He is not a normal student. He is supposed to be someone from the underworld. You think? Zhao Tang, Hichan Tang has arms crusaders and an expression of worship. Not I know, but he looked very handsome before. Handsome? He is not handsome at all. At all. Su-yan would never admit that you're handsome. Dozens of minutes later, Ludi was covered in bruises, left the nursing room covered in iodine. Immediately he called his good friend from the arts club, Marshall. Hello, brother Peng, my brother. They hit me. You have to avenge me. A member of the photography club at his side changed expression upon hearing this because the brother Peng he mentioned is Aoli Pen, a key member of the martial arts club. This guy is a character feared on the college campus, is said to have practiced martial arts since childhood. He has won the martial arts championship, municipal level. 10 ordinary people together could not defeat him, and his uncle is a leader in school. As long as he doesn't cause a big problem, they will protect him. Everyone couldn't help but feel, it seems that boy is in trouble. You took Su-yan and Niantong to the classroom of the Faculty of Art. His expression revealed impatience. You two, keep a low profile, don't look for trouble, I am your bodyguard. Yan Tang made an awkward bow. Okay, strong bro. After hearing that, 3 black lines appeared on your head. What the hell is... Why stop, hee. You have so much strength. From now on, I will call you strong brother. You did not pay attention. Before leaving, you said again, remember, don't look for trouble, I hate problems. Hearing this, Su-yan crossed her arms. This lady does what she wants. Why should I listen to you? If it wasn't for Aunt Yao, I wouldn't care about what you do. Then you walked all the way and arrived at the medicine faculty classroom to register. Then you chose a random place and sat down. You took out your phone and continued reading a novel. Hey friend, what are you looking at that you're so engrossed? You didn't lift your head. I am reading a novel. What novel is prettier than the most beautiful girl? Pretty girl from school, you should introduce yourself. My name is F. Tao, call me Fan Xiao Punle. You raised your head and took a look. Click, have you voted? What vote? I have no interest. I responded, I'm sure you're interested in the forum. The school is choosing the most beautiful girl. Don't you want to see what the prettiest girl is like? One of them is more beautiful and is in our class. I have no interest at all. I think that novels are more interesting. You, who have lived more than 2,000 years, is it not that you have not had a growing partner? No matter how beautiful a woman is, after a while, it becomes common. Xiaopan expressed. You keep acting. After saying that, he started talking to a tall man sitting next to him. The tall man is called Sant Tachun, comes from the countryside. Sant Tachun looks like a little fool. Sant Tachun says that he can see the prettiest girl. Sant Tachun took out his phone and immediately got into the school. This is the famous Su-yan, of which they were talking about. Wow, it's really beautiful. More pretty than a star. A star? She isn't even a star. You know about the group Su? Jin-san is Su-yan's father. Hearing this, Sant Tacho was surprised. Jin-san, that great businessman, who often appears on television. The group has a value of several hundred billion. How much do stars really earn? At that moment, you calmly interrupted. You are wrong. Susuyan's biggest dream is being a star. She is not as proud as they think, is quite vulgar. Fan Xiao and Sant Chun were stunned at the same time. After a moment, they started laughing together. Haha, you talk as if you knew very well, right? At that moment, a group of people entered suddenly in the classroom. With a threatening attitude, the one who led was a robust young man. He had muscles all over his body, with hands on hips. He seemed to be a difficult guy to deal with. Young man with cotton in one nostril and two panda eyes. Looked around quickly, the classroom, and then noticed you. Brother Pen, is he? He is him. Who left me like this? The classroom exploded in a murmured, an older classmate. Hey, are from clinical class 2. And there is still a new student so arrogant. Glances fell on you, a young man. Robustly lowered himself and placed his foot on your table. Are you the damn Yefan? I heard that you are very arrogant. Santa Chun has a strong sense of justice. He quickly began to speak. What are you doing, older companion? The young man raised his hand robustly and gave him a strong slap. Santa Chun is taller than 1.80, was hit and staggered. He grabbed the table to keep from falling. I am Sao Lipen from Sunda Club, get out! Fan Xiao gathered his courage and spoke. Is there a misunderstanding? Sao Pen looked at Fan Xiao with a mocking smile. Fat man, you too, do you want to try it? It was heard the sound of a slap. Scared Fan Xiao closed his eyes tightly. But the strange thing is that he didn't feel any pain in the face. An incredible scene appeared. The vice president of the photography club, Yudi, covered her scarlet face and screamed on the ground. Sao and Pen, you're crazy, why you hit me? Saoi Pen looked at his right hand and he backed away. He had an expression of astonishment. I don't know, it wasn't me. You were still sitting in your place. The index finger of your right hand, that was under the table, moved slightly. Really, it wasn't me. Just after Sao Pen shouted out, suddenly he turned his right arm and a backhand punch hit Ludi's face. They were thrown by the sudden blood explosion. Ludi fell from back stiff. You stood up, as if nothing, and you shrugged your shoulders. An expression of disinterest. At that moment, a student came in with two teachers in the classroom. Teacher, is he wants to hit someone from our class. The two teachers quickly took everyone from the Santa Club. That girl approached you with concern. Buddy, are you okay? Look, isn't it the daughter of the owner of the barbecue restaurant from last night? I think it's called Subang Wan. Subang Wan's eyes shone and was about to tell you a couple of things. The counselor suddenly entered the classroom. There is only one option. She can only go back and sit after class. Subang went looking for you anxiously, but realized that you had already left without her noticing. You were looking for a place quiet on campus and continued reading your novel with peace of mind. At night at the barbecue restaurant. From Ime, some threatening thugs were questioning mother and daughter about your phone number. Half of these bullies have squinty eyes. The leader, Makun, also has nice eyes. The scene, it's quite funny. But Limmy and Sub Bangan can't laugh. We can't, brother. The contact information of the clients are private. I can't give it to you. Just leave us alone. Damn privacy. That boy left me like this. If I don't kill him, how am I going to continue like this in this street? After that, your voice comes from the door. The thugs turned around and saw you enter the store. With hands on your pockets. Good boy, you dare to appear. Makun points to his white eyes. This can't even be cured by a hospital. Tell me, were you the one who did this? Yes, it was me who did it. What do you want? Come and admit it sincerely. He gave them a look. Come all together. Don't waste time, I haven't eaten yet. So crazy, brothers. Kill him. Makun took out an extendable baton from his waist and launched forward with 10 brothers. Seeing this, Sub Bangwan did not know where she got the courage to shout with all her might. Li Fan, don't play rude anymore. Run! But in the next second, she was witness to a miracle. Only saw how he knocked out a thug with one punch. Those extendable batons hit you, and it seemed like you didn't feel any pain at all. In just a blink of an eye, 10 thugs were lying on the ground. You pointed to the thugs on the ground and warned. I'm from King's University Santa Club. My name is Sao Li Pen. I don't want to go back to see them on this street. If I see you again, I will hit you. Li and Sub Bangwan were completely amazed. The street of yours has poor security. They usually watch fights often, but they've never seen someone so fierce. Can one really go against 10? Is it perhaps the type of warrior they talk about online? Sub Bangwan approached you with concern. Are you okay, buddy? I saw you. You seem to have been hit by a stick. You shook your clothes. I'm fine, actually. You could have dodged it before, but I felt it was not necessary. Not to talk, neither batons nor even bullets can break your internal energy. Then you asked, in your house, in addition to barbecue, they also make fried dishes, right? Li Mei smiled quickly and replied, yes, yes. Girls, tell me what you want me to do, Aunt. You answered without thinking. I want to eat lime dragon meat. Bangwan was stunned immediately by what you said. When seeing that you said something incorrect, you quickly corrected yourself. I want to eat fried beef style. It's fine. I will go do it. Li Mei turned around and walked into the kitchen and threw some meaningful glances at Bangwan. It seems that it is hinting at something. On the other hand, street gang members are hospitalized again. A subordinate covers his face and asks in confusion, Brother Kun, for the one who is called Yi Fan is so strong, his fists are so heavy, like a hammer. The face of Makun is already swollen like a pig's. Squinting eyes are full of anger. I guess he has learned martial arts. In the Shaolin Temple, it is possible that I have also practiced the swang of Hinsan. Hearing this, several gang members. Suan de Hinsan, you didn't see that we hit him with the extendable baton? He did not react at all. Absolute damn, I must call Brother Chow. We can't leave that this remains like this. After saying this, he took his phone. Bao Chow is in the other side. From the line, after listening to the whole history, got very angry. Useless. Everyone was useless. You all couldn't against a single student. I have maintained you all. Makun feels very aggrieved. Brother Chow, that boy has practiced the golden bell and shirt iron technique. I hit him with the iron stick, and he didn't have any reaction. Where is that boy now? I'm going to send Abagio and Lan immediately. Upon hearing that, Makun seemed surprised. Brother Chow, no need be so tough. In the end, he is just a student. Stop talking nonsense and tell me, he's eating at the restaurant of barbecue of Ime. It is possible that he could still be there. Chow hung up immediately the phone. At that moment, a charming female voice was heard at his side. I tell you, Brother Chow, we need to mobilize Abayo and Ashayan to deal with the student. We need to mobilize Abayo and Alang. They are our best bullies in the gang. What do you know about it? The street itself is a big bite to eat. King's gangs are on the prowl. Do you really think that guy is just a student? In my opinion, it should be someone sent by a gang to look for trouble. She was stunned and then understanding. Brother Chow is still wise. Inside the barbecue restaurant, Sub Bangwan could not help but look at the amount of food you ate. She told you, don't you eat too much? Because the dishes in front of you, they pile up higher and higher. You ended up eating more than 1,000 yuan before you stop. It's not that you're full. If you keep eating like this, maybe you'll be considered a monster. You got up, and you were about to scan the code to pay. Lime quickly stopped you. Kid, thanks for your help these days. This meal is on Aunt's account. You immediately shook your hand and answered, it is not necessary. You know what Limey is thinking. She just wants to ask you to take care of them. But you are someone who really hates trouble. If it weren't for Limey's skills, either would you visit this store again. You paid. And turned around to walk away. On the street, you were thinking about a problem. With this way of eating, the monthly payment of 20,000 that your mother gave you will probably end soon. Where to get some money? Turn stones in gold to make a mountain of gold. Or make artifacts to sell at a high price? Or find some super rich who are about to die, practice magic to help them prolong their life? Why to do these things? It seems that everything requires consuming the already scarce spiritual energy. You sigh. Suddenly, you turned a corner and you entered a dark alley. At that moment, 2 men in black coats followed you closely. He ran fast. Chase him! The 2 had just entered the alley. Your cold voice immediately resonated. The 2 men in coats are looking for me. They looked in surprise upon hearing this. Incredible! They have discovered us. You are Limpen, right? You can really realize that we are both following you, as expected. He is an expert in martial arts. You put your hands in your pockets and smiled. Let's talk about business. Who sent us here? A man with a coat on the left took off his hood, revealing a face full of knife scars. Kid, this question should be directed to you, shouldn't it? If there would be members of the gang here, they would certainly recognize him. He is Chen Zibao, one of the two main thugs at Chao. He took out a knife from his chest, its edge shining coldly. Society of the Four Seas, Green Dragon Association, Tiger Gate. Talk. Which side you are on? When you see this, first you sigh. Then you answered. I come from the Palace of Purity and Infinity. Chen Zibao shouted with fury, while holding the knife. Palace of Purity and Infinity? You're talking about a fantasy novel? Or do you think I can't kill you now? Chen Zibao's brother, Chen Shilan, spoke. Don't waste your time talking to him, Toa. Take him with you and give him a good beating. We will see if his bones are hard or if our poles are harder. While they were talking, Chen Xilang bowed slightly forward, like a sharp arrow that comes out standing. You look sideways and realize that this man's physical condition was at least 10 times better than that of a normal gangster. But he was still very far from the minimum standard of the period energy refinement. You launched towards him with a kick. Chen Xiland. No, I was hoping you would be so quick to receive a kick in the chest from you. You immediately broke several of his bones. He spat out a stream of blood. When he saw this, Chen Zibao was greatly surprised. He also lunged forward with a knife and screamed with all his might. I'm going to kill you! And you don't back down or give in. You dodged, extended your hand, and you took away the knife. In front of Chen Zibao, you turned it into a mud of iron. You also let out a mocking laugh. You're not even better than your brother. Chen Zibao had never seen anything so terrifying. His face turned pale from fear. Then, with a movement of your right index finger, a line of internal, semi-transparent, lucid energy emerged from your fingertip, connecting with Chen Zhang, who was lying on the ground. He got up rigidly. He realized that his body was not obeying. Brother, quickly run away! I can't control myself! What the hell is happening? I barely finished speaking. Chen Xilang threw a punch with force, hit Chen Zibao, who ended up with blood from the nose. That's how both brothers got into a fight. They beat each other, leaving bruises on their faces. They even hit each other enough to suffer a concussion. You turned around and left the alley without thinking. You dialed the police number. Hello? Hi, policeman. I saw someone fighting in the alley. The fight was really fierce. It's so scary. You walked from there and returned to the Roses Garden. Just as you entered the room, you were surprised to discover that Susuyanyan's dad is her Jin-san. Susuyanyan had arrived and was writhing on the couch, showing her white shoulder and acting flirtatiously, like a dad fooling around with a 3-year-old. When she saw you return, Susuyanyan immediately grimaced and raised his white leg, regaining her distant attitude. His Jin-san approached from the living room. A couple with sharp eyes were watching you. You greeted him politely. Hi, I have heard about what happened today. Xiao Shua, thank you for helping Susuyan. Your mom and Susuyan's mom are good friends. I also hope that you and Susuyanyan can be good friends. Dad, I don't want to be his friend. You raised your hand in a sign of agreement. I don't want neither. Susuyanyan, angry, throws you a cushion. Who do you think you are? People who want to be friends with this miss are countless. You bow gently and say, do not worry, we will be separated for 3 months at the most. That can't be opened. You make me look like I'm dating you. Su-jin-san smiled with difficulty and calls you to the yard, Jingo, from light to darkness. His expression also gradually becomes cold. Have you noticed this? He questions straight up. Police? If you have something to say it directly. Su-jin-san adopts a very serious expression. In reality, at first, I agree with you moving here because his is the jewel of the family. Living with a young person in his youth. If this becomes known, surely it will cause quite a stir in King's Son. You are a little confused, so why not I just leave? 2 reasons. First, my wife likes you a lot. She even wants to pair up with Sunyan. In second place, Sunyan told me you have a lot of strength. You has practiced. You admitted with sincerity. I have practiced a little. Old Chi also has practiced level 8 of Linga. You dare to compete with him? That question? You must do it to him. Haha, boy, you are not so old, man. But what confidence you have, Fang Gai said with a smile, as he crossed hands behind his back. Have you heard talk about inner strength? When hearing this, you shook your head. What is internal strength? I don't know. You haven't even heard talking about inner strength. It seems that you are just a common fan of martial arts. Fanji shook his head in secret. Then, with his left hand lightly brought his fingers together, and so he made a movement in the air. Crack! In a hino, in the courtyard, there were 5 finger marks that sank almost 1 inch deep. You see? This is the internal strength. Only the warriors who have cultivated the martial path for decades can be forged into this type of state. Is called general martial. In ancient time, they could advance in battle and facing 100 men. You feel a little skeptical. Isn't that just it, meat? But suddenly, you think of something and question Butler Fan. Excuse me, what others are there beyond internal force? Seeing that you have not been left stunned, Fanji feels approvingly in secret. You have a very balanced personality. Well done, young man. Don't be too ambitious. A general martial with inner strength is already a rare talent. In ancient times, it would not be difficult to win the title of martial champion. If you want to achieve an inner strength like mine, you must first cultivate external strength. It takes 10 years of hard work, even with superior talent. You feel a little impatient. You think, this old man talks too much. Jin-san asks quietly from an old side. Old Fan, what do you think, in the end? President, he could be the bodyguard of the miss. There should be no problem for him dealing with common gangsters. Su Hinana felt satisfied. After listening, I'm giving you a task. Protect Suyan at school, like today. You can do it, no? You can avoid feeling that way. I understand. This is the second reason why you leave me here. To make a great grower from the Yanyin kingdom. Protect a very good student is very creative. This way, I won't have to fight with my wife. You can too stay. You could say it's a perfect solution. In addition to this, I will offer a salary of $10,000 a month. Boys your age must be short of money. Truth, I'm just a student, common uncle, you're better look for someone else. You said that and left. I left you in charge of protecting Susuyanyan. Just being with her is almost suffocating. The muscles of his Jin-san's face twisted faintly. Thought that this boy's mind believes the best aside. Fanji too shook his head. The group is one of Kingston big companies. Su family is also a well-known aristocratic family. In Hang'an, a large opportunity to cross classes presents before them. This boy really missed it. It's really a shame. Hospital affiliated with Qingda University. Xiao looked at those who were lying on Chen Xilong and Chen Zibao, who were receiving oxygen. Their faces turned gloomy. These two brothers have already lost consciousness. It is not known when they will be able to wake up. A woman with hair dyed red wine approached him and said, Brother, it's clear now. Sali Pen is indeed a member of the Club King's University. He is also a key member. His parents are ordinary people. They don't have much background. Just a guy who is a director of studies. The person who spoke is called Wan Jinoa, the lover and secretary of Baixiao. An university student who practices Sanda is so formidable. This is really amazing. Baixiao squeezed his teeth and clenched his fist. It does not matter, Chinoa. Get me more people. If one doesn't work, get 10. If 50 don't work, get 100. I can't believe this boy with the last name Sao is perhaps a Superman or what? Juan Chinoa frowned silently, seemed to have objections to this decision. However, she nodded. The next day, the first week of the start of classes, after the training event for new students, entered the phase of military training. With the order of the young instructor, the 50 students of Clinical Class 2 sat down, hit the ground. Everyone was complaining about how tiring it is to be in position. There was a chorus of complaints when he stood firm. The young instructor saw this and shook his head. You students, today's college students are too spoiled, cannot be in position. Not even 40 minutes. You are really useless. In the face of such despise, several boys in the class clearly did not agree with him. One short-haired boy raised his hand and stood up. Instructor, can't generalize. Thus, maintaining the position of firm is nothing to me. Every day, I exercise, sing, dance, and play basketball. My physical condition should be on par with yours. The young instructor smiled genuinely. Really? Who are you? The short-haired young man raised the smooth head, Lin Su Amin. In the class, there were several girls. At that time, all they looked at Lin Su Amin with surprise. You were also watching the scene from one side, the young instructor considered. Necessary to teach these students a lesson, since they are not willing to accept. Do you dare to competing? It is fine. Tell me what we are going to do. Compare. Then, let's compare. How many push-ups we can do. Lin Su Amin gave a pat on the chest with his well-defined muscles. No problem. They both quickly prepared themselves. They stood up, resting their hands on the ground. This competition's rules are very simple. Who gives up first and loses. The students from the nearby classes heard that a student was going to compete with the instructor. Everyone approached with great enthusiasm to observe. At first, Lin Suamin could still keep up with the instructor. His movements were quite standard. But after 80, they started to deform. At that moment, smooth Lin Suamin looked to the side, and that look almost shocked him to death, because that young man instructor was doing push-ups with one arm. Seeing this situation, Lin Suamin blushed and threw himself directly into the ground. His defeat was learned and accepted. After Lin Suamin returned to his team, the young instructor asked, "Is someone else dissatisfied? Can come to try." Seeing that no one answered, the young instructor added, "If any of you beat me, you can get rid of the formation." Upon hearing this, you raised your eyebrows. If he was going to say that, so you've shown interest. Fia Pixial, who was next, encouraged Sant Tachun. "Dachun, you are so strong. Why don't you come out to test?" Sant Tachun quickly shook his head. "I can't do more than 70 single-arm push-ups, at most 20. The instructor beats me in an instant." The young instructor narrowed his eyes and waved his hand. "Well, if no one shows up to fight, we will continue with the training." In that moment, suddenly a student, that instructor, raised his hand. "Instructor, I want to try it." The young instructor looked at you with an expression of doubt. "Are you sure?" "Instructor, what you said before counts. If I win, I won't have to do the military training." "Counts, of course, it counts. However, you have to win first." You calmed down, and you made an OK sign. "Then, it is okay." After leaving the queue, you started competing with the instructor. Lin Suamin told some of his boys from his room, "If he can beat the instructor, I will do a live broadcast eating Oreos." A round-faced girl with glasses curiously asked Bangwan, "Do you think this Ifan can win?" Sub Bangwan nodded slightly. "I think he can." When the competition started, the amount of push-ups of both exceeded 50, the young instructor began. His performance changed from 2 arms to 1 single arm. Laughed coldly inside. "This guy is even more inexperienced than me. In this, I am the record holder of our company's push-ups." Then, he looked at you again, and immediately began to break out in a cold sweat, because at that moment, you only rested a little finger on the ground, making the movements quickly. Everyone around you screamed, "My God, just 1 finger, am I seeing right?" Maybe this is the famous flexion of a single finger, and it is also with the pinky finger. Amazing. Lin Suamin, who believed himself to be the best in condition of the class, his face turned red. It was as if they would have slapped him several times. The young man instructor looked at you with an expression of astonishment, as if he was seeing a monster. "Who are you, really?" After that, you got up for a moment. He could not think of nothing better to say. Like that, I borrowed Leeson's words. "I also exercise, sing and dance. I rap and play basketball every day. Physical condition has developed thus, little by little." Fian Xiao, Ban Tachun looked at each other, surprised. They did not think you were so strong. It is not surprising that he dares to challenge the senior and the prettiest girl of the Faculty of Medicine. Sub Bangwan, with a look of admiration, looks at you. "Look." Lin Suamin, on the other hand, is so angry that clenches his teeth. "This boy is challenging me." Intentionally. You asked the instructor, "Instructor, if there is no problem, then I go first." The young instructor got nervous. He immediately rushed to say that he was joking. "It can't be that you didn't really participate in the military training." Hearing this immediately make you uncomfortable. What does it mean? That might also be a lie. Finally, this matter reached the ears of the commander-in-chief. Considering the reputation, the commander-in-chief even made an exception and allowed you not to participate in military training. After you left, satisfied, instructor of more than 40 years looked at you, and he muttered, "This boy is not simple, showed no fear in front of me, instructor is not bad, this worries me." What if other students find out? Will have objections. What objections? If any of them can do 10 single-finger push-ups, they will not have to participate in the military training, that's what I say. You went out for a walk for a while and got changed of clothes. You finally went to the school supermarket to buy an ice cream, and you ate it while walking. You walked past the basketball court, and you chose a shady spot for sit-down. You took out your phone, and you started reading a novel. Instead of military training of the class of performance, is here, Susuyan and Hyun Tung were surprised to see you, but next, Susuyan got angry. She was under the scorching sun. This guy is eating ice cream and resting. This bastard is trying to annoy me on purpose? The day ended quickly. You slept under the tree without realizing it. Since you were not wearing a uniform, instructors thought you were a second-year student and didn't pay attention to you at that moment. Sal and Penn passed by you. None of them noticed you. Ludi got angry and started to talk. That guy is weird. Next time, let's call more people. We must teach him a good lesson. Saul and Penn snorted. Last time, it was a mistake during my training. Next time I see him, I will not hesitate. Give him a beating. The two of them left together through the door. With them were two beautiful classmates who had just met. They are ready to go to a bar to have fun, but they had not walked 2 streets since they left school. A large group of armed thugs emerged. They surrounded them in an alley, and Ludi startled and quickly hid behind. Solim Penn, what's up, bro Penn? Sao also got scared and swallowed salivate several times. Do not be scared. Do not be scared is a fight between gangs. These kinds of things are very common, aren't they? It has nothing to do with us alone. We have to act as if we had not seen nothing and sneak away. Saoli Penn with his group. He moved crouching. They headed towards the entrance of the alley, under the gaze of all. Glances of those 40 or 50 thugs, too, moved with them. The alley was in complete silence. What resulted? Disturbing, Yudi asked, trembling. Brother Peng, I think something is not right. Why do I feel like everyone is trying to stop us? You're talking nonsense. Saoli Penn turned around and just said a rudeness. Then, he saw a bully dressed in a flowered shirt, a blonde thug wearing a machete. Without saying a word, I gave him a kick in the face. The blonde bully pointed a knife at him. Are you Saoli Penn? I heard that you are very good at this. You brought down our brother Abayo and to our brother Alang. How awesome, Saoli Penn, with the face covered in blood from the nose, didn't stop shaking his head. No. Brother, you have confused me for another guy. Thugs immediately approached him. They searched his pockets and took out his identification. The blonde bully looked at it. With a crack, he broke it and threw it at the face. Brothers, he is Saoli Penn. Kill him. The place was filled with chaos. About 50 or 60 thugs pounced on him. Tyson and Nan couldn't stand it. After hitting Saoli Penn, and the blonde bully laughed coldly. Haha, Saoli Penn, from the Sanda Club is not great thing, brothers, let's go. After saying this, blonde-haired bully laughed and walked away. He left only one of his people in the ground, Saoli Penn, with more than a dozen of fractures throughout the body. In the Mahi, the blonde-haired bully walked with a knife in hand he called Chow, with a arrogant tone. That boy, Saoli Penn, is already offside. At least needs to be in bed for 6 months. In a certain entertainment club, Chow woke up, really surprised. You're not fooling me, right? The blonde bully, named Jan Kai, answered, with a mocking laugh. I broke his identification, Brother Chow. If not me, do you think I can come back right now and take some more photos of him? Chow laughed happily. Haha, not bad. Jan Kai, I've never seen your skills before. I didn't think you had so much talent. After Chow hung up the phone, Hang Genoa asked, somewhat doubtfully, it was solved this easy? The Saoli Penn problem? Quote, Brother Xiao, maybe Jan Kai was wrong? Don't worry, he is not wrong. Everyone has verified their IDs. After all, there are around 40 or 50 people, and they all carry weapons. It's as if Huan Feng and Jin would arrive, and everyone would have that he received several more blows, even more him. After listening to this, Juan Chino finally nodded. At that moment, you were still sleeping deeply into the basketball court. In the middle of your dream, you heard that someone called you. You heard that someone was calling you. You woke up stunned and rubbed your eyes. You realized that your spiritual essence was seriously injured. Lately, you are always sleepy. If this were in the small kingdom of Nangan, you probably would set a spell and sleep outdoors. You would probably be dead already. The girl who woke you up is Subang Wan, she asked a little curiously. Why are you sleeping here? You moved your hand, stood up, and stretched. Nothing happens to me. I fell asleep accidentally. Let's go to your house to eat. I'm hungry. Subang Wan smiled happily. That's right. She followed you and left the campus. When you both reached the gate from school, just at that moment, the rose rice from the Su family also came out from the gate. Hian Tang saw you, and surprised, she patted her Suyan. Suyan, look quickly, it's brother. He is with a very pretty girl. Wouldn't they be dadig? Susuyan looked involuntarily, discovered that you were chatting with a pure and charming girl. For some reason, felt angry. Chow, when you see this type in the future, you could stop surprising you so much? Is not a big person, so much as for that. Hyantong took out a little tongue. Is fine, is fine. You and her were talking and walking together. They arrived at the restaurant barbecue, suddenly heard the cry of his mother, Limai, inside the store, and the laughter from a few thugs. She ran quickly inward, your face also darkened, thinking, I sent it that group of thugs again? Inside, the thugs, led by Makun, destroyed the entire store. The owner, Limai, I was sitting on the floor, crying, but she had no way to fix it. Makun said in an arrogant, old manner, Old witch, that boy, Saul Pen, has already been eliminated by our brother, Chow. He will never come to help you again. In that moment, Zangan ran, crying, enraged. She threw herself into the arms of Makun. Makun was just about to slap Sub Bangwan, but he noticed that there was a figure standing in the entrance. Immediately scared, he took 3 steps back and kept on murmuring, You, why are you? He saw you walk in slowly, with your hands in the pockets. The words that came out of your mouth left them frozen. I said, You, this group of people, how come they don't learn the lesson? Although Makun did not know what the situation was, still reacted quickly. He quickly nodded and smiled with servility. Brother Peng, all this is a misunderstanding, a misunderstanding. I curse to whoever I want, you said. After saying that, you directly kicked Makun from the front door to the kitchen. Some knocks were heard, and then this did not make any more noise. The crowd, spectators, and the bullies were left stunned. A kick sent him flying several meters. Is this not too exaggerated? But what they didn't know was that you had already made the greatest effort to contain your force. Otherwise, a kick from a Yanjing stage cultivator, let's talk about a single person, a street hole can evaporate instantly. The rest of the thugs knelt before you immediately. You looked and said indifferently, It seems that today we have to resolve the things at once. Half an hour later, in the largest nightclub in the district, from Xincheng, the Mingan Club, you entered, pushing Makun, who was covered in blood. In the imperial room, Yan Kai was shouting into the microphone. Suddenly, there was a bang at the door of the living room. It was kicked flying. You threw Makun to one side. Your gaze swept the place. Which one is the brother Chow, John? He gave a slap and shouted at the microphone, I am! What do you want to do? Alphalin. Hearing this, you didn't say a word. Straight away, your figure shone. You ran towards Janai and slapped him. Every blow sounded like artificial fires, because your speed is too fast. When the real brother Xiao and Wan Qin react, Jiang Kai has already been beaten, leaving him a mess, bleeding from the nose, and his front teeth have fallen out. Seeing this, Chow shouted with fury, Go for him! Kill him! About 10 thugs, in the reserved, they obeyed immediately. They launched towards you immediately. At the same time, only loud noises were heard. In less than a minute, there was no room for moving in the reserved area. It was almost full of knocked out people. Chow was sitting on the couch, stunned, looking at you. Who are you, really? Hey, you are the true brother Chow. I have heard that you've been looking for me. You're Aop. You're Aop Pen. No. Your name is Janai. He was deceived by you. Who you really are, at least you have a little bit of brain, but you still don't know who I am. After saying this, you disappeared in an instant. In the next second, he sat straight down next to Chow. Wan Chinua curled up in the corner. He opened his eyes wide. She thought to herself, that speed. So fast. Chow also stayed paralyzed by fear. He let out a scream, very strange, and wanted to escape. But you hold firmly with your hand. You just said, if you send that group of thugs to that barbecue restaurant again and interrupt me, I swear I'll blow up your dog head. Heard it? Chow was completely stunned and did not say nothing for a while. You complain about that, he responds too slowly. So you slapped him 3 times in the face. Siso immediately began to bleed from the nose, made a sound like a pig being sacrificed, and did not stop. Settle down. I heard it. Also, I'm a little short on money lately. Give me another 20. Consider it as a quick stress compensation. Genoa transfer. Wan Chinoa got up. Trembling from the corner, she took out her phone and asked, Brother, what is your number, bank card? I'll transfer it to you now. You took a look at it yourself. Do you think that? I'm not an idiot. I need cash. It didn't happen for a long time. Several thugs brought $200,000 in cash. You took the money and you got ready to leave. Before you left, you also gave a couple of warnings. Remember, to attack the restaurant of Limey Barbecue is like breaking my plate, be careful, or I'll blow your head off. After you left, a thug dared to talk. Brother, at that time, I went to look at the email, phone number. The record of transfers shows that this type, it seems, is called Ifan by Zhao. Started to shout in the private room, Lifan Riget? No one ever dared to steal from me. Wait, you're dead. Wan Jinoa, next door, advised with caution, Brother Chow, it seems that Lifan is a martial artist. We can't get into it. Chow Sia immediately slapped Wan Chino in the face. What is there that we cannot face? Not only has practiced more arts, if I had practiced this technique of iron palm since childhood, could hit him so hard that he would fly away. At that moment, Zhao suddenly thought of something and sat back down on the couch and smiled sinisterly. If we cannot defeat it openly, we can do it in a hidden way. In that moment, did not notice Wan Jinoa lying on the ground. In her eyes was also a flash of malice. When you returned to the barbecue restaurant, several thugs had already cleaned the place. You took directly between 100,000 yuan, and you gave them to Li Mei. When she saw this thick wad of bills she does not know, dared to accept. She asked with wonder, Little Fan, where did you get it? So much money. Just now, I went to talk to Brother Peng. He agreed to pay you and never charge you again protection in the future. The eyes of Sub Bangwan truly shone with joy. That's great, take it and renovate the premises. Your stomach floated a little. And you said, I'm hungry, is there something to eat? Yes, I'll do it for you right away, wait a minute. Lai Mai moment turned around and he went to the kitchen and wiped away the tears from the corner of the eyes. To the back, hand in hand, sighs softly in your inside. You chose a spot and sat down. Sub Bangwan sits in front of you. Her expressive and bright eyes carry an expression of doubt. Yi Fan, you're not going to take them all down, right? How could I? There are dozens of people. As simply subdue them with virtue. I speak with logic. Wow, you are impressive. Not only do you know how to fight, you also have good eloquence. Bangwan rests his face on her hands, blushing. I don't know how to thank you, just please don't bother me. You suddenly say that, making Bangwan run out of words, immediately feeling hurt and misunderstood. Every day, there are children who want to be with her. Why? You despise me so much. Don't you want to apologize for what you said earlier? Because, like a monster that has lived more than 2,000 years, you read in the eyes of her a glimpse of love. If this continues, this girl, sooner or later, she will fall in love with you, that kind of. Things are the biggest constraint on the road of cultivation. It is better to cut the crop sprout of love as soon as possible. Arriving on the second day was the official day from the start of classes. The programming of the clinical class was very intense. However, you didn't hear a single one class, or you were sleeping on a desk, or reading a novel in your phone. Your classmates watched, and everyone shook their heads. In the break time, Fan Xian approached you and couldn't help but ask, Fan, you're really going to risk failing everything in the end? Sang Tachun too. He was carrying a stack of books with an expression of discouragement. Studying medicine, it's too hard. There are 10 subjects to the final exam. Now I regret it. While you seem to be very relaxed, studying medicine is not just memorize. With a final effort before of the exam is fine. You said that and gave up, turned to leave the classroom. Li Sanyan looked and laughed contemptuously at those 10 books. I will see how you prepare for the exams. Get ready to fail, you fool. If, however, mortals never. You can imagine how terrifying memory of a cultivator is. And you, in the world of cultivation, you are actually also a divine doctor with medical skills extraordinary. The little kingdom of the South has a history of hundreds of thousands of years, compared to medicine Western that is barely 200 years old. You went to the canteen. You were queuing up to eat. There you felt a fierce gaze behind you. When you turned around, it was Susuyan. You didn't know why, but she gets angry when she sees you. Fan, you are a bastard. But Hintang greeted you. Hello, strong brother. You also smiled and nodded at Hintang. At that time, in the crowd standing in line at the cafeteria, suddenly, a series of girls' screams rang out. Following the sound, you saw a boy, tall and handsome-faced man, held a basketball ball, was heading towards the girls. The girls in the row began to murmur excited. "That must be Sin-Soo Fei of third year, is as handsome as they say." Sin-Soo Fei walked straight to her Suyan and smiled. "Hi, you're Susuyan, right? You are quite famous." Susuyan, as the young heiress of the family, that did not show interest in the person in front of her, however, seeing Jafan at his side, suddenly an idea occurred to her. She gave Sin-Soo Fei a radiant smile. "Hello, I'm Susuyan, nice to meet you. Hello, what do you want to eat, little sister? Let me invite you. How can I let a greater spend on me?" He scratched his head. "Don't worry, it's nothing." Looking at the two who seemed to enjoy from the conversation, Hyun-Tong felt confused. Is not supposed for her to like authoritarian presidents? The type of super big boss? Why is she so enthusiastic with a sports student? Perhaps he wants to make Dalig angry. When she noticed that Su Suyanyan from time to time liked it Liafan, she immediately understood something and began to laugh secretly. Su Suyan thought that when you saw it would make you jealous and talk to other boys. But after you finished eating, you didn't even look at her. The second time, this also made her angrier. Su Suyanyan cursed herself in her mind. "Jefan, no, I cannot believe you. Really don't feel anything for me, unless you are a eunuch." "Keep acting like that." At that time, Sin-Soo Fei said, smiling, "Companion, what do you want to eat? I help you serve." Su Suyanyan felt a wave of nausea. Her expression turned instant cold. "No need, big brother. I have my own hands." At that moment, a group of people entered the dining room. A strong young man threatened a boy with glasses. "Quickly finds that Lifan. I have something to ask him." "Okay, brother Beat." The young strong man with the hands on hips added contemptuously, "Damned, go out to competing for a few days. Something so great happened at the club." Susuyan that was next to them. She shocked into silence. You sent a message immediately. "Cricky fan? Has provoked someone? You shouldn't have? They came to look for you for problems. Runs through the back door fast." The message was sent fast. The boy with glasses said, "Brother Beat, he is Lai Fan." The burly young man and a group of people quickly headed towards you. The students throughout the road quickly dispersed. No one dared to challenge them, because this person was the president of the Sanda Club. He approached and hit the table in front of you with one hand. "You are Le Fan? Come with me for a moment. I have something to ask you. You hate being bothered." While you eat, however, you didn't get angry immediately. Instead, you raised your head and asked impassive. "What's up? Tell me here. My brother Samal and Pen, a few days ago, was beaten by a group of people and taken to the hospital, has more than 20 fractures, and dozens of implants were placed points. Do you know who it was?" You responded with some confusion. "How could I know?" After hearing this, Hillian threw your share plate. "You're talking nonsense. I've already had someone look into it. It was you who provoked the bullies outside of school. You reported intentionally the name of Lipen." You raised your arm and smiled. "But he was the one who got me into trouble first." "So you're admitting that?" Your expression was calm. And what do you plan to do?" Everything around you at that moment was silent. Hundreds of students looked at each other with amazement. Without his faith of the team, Athletics exclaimed, "This boy has gotten to a big mess, really dares to do something like that." Is finished. Not even I would dare to provoke Basian. Hyun-Tong looked anxiously to Susuyan. "Susuyan, what are we going to do?" Susuyan was very worried and quickly took out her phone. "I know some teachers. First, I will contact them to see." Hideon Batian originally planned to act directly with so many people looking at him, so he suppressed his anger temporarily and looked at you fiercely. "Boy, do you dare to accompany us to the Sanda Club activities? I want to talk to you about something." After listening to him, you stood up and said 3 words. "Take us on." Hearing this, a group of members of the Sanda Club stayed stunned. Everyone was stunned. No one expected you to accept so easily as a new student. Hinian Batian let out a cold snort. "Well, counted. Like a man." Shortly after, you arrived at the Sanda Club activity room. Just as you entered, you heard the sound of the door locking behind you. At that time, a member of the club showed his true fierce expression. He kicked directly in the rear, but unexpectedly, with a quick move, you grabbed his ankle. Without giving him time to react, you used it like a club, and you shook it. After several blows to 6 members of the Club of Sanda included Hikyan Batashan. They were thrown into the air, as if were beaten by a human club. They crashed hard into the wall. "Wow, you all know how to do this too," everyone attacked together. Hichian Basian shouted with fury as he rose from the ground. A direct kick comes towards you. You have no extravagant movements. Ignore his left kick directly. You raise your fist and make a series of punches. In a short time, blows were hitting. He wasn't able to resist. His forearm was swollen. His face is also full of bruises. The other members of the club Sanda also fall in one blow, or are fracture, or have internal bleeding, and they kneel down, vomiting. Hideon Basishan, really feeling pain, quickly begs for mercy. "No more blows. No more. You say that if you don't hit right. Right now, in the cafeteria. You are not very clever." After saying that, you give him another slap, you leave him stunned. You finally kick him away, causing a knock hard on the door. At the same time, it also knocks down the classroom door that was closed by inside. They were beating. Wheel down the hall. The pain makes him lose his sight, and not can breathe. In the second-floor hallway, a group of people surrounded a young man as if they were stars around the moon. Surrounded a young man with everything type of flattery. A comment from a big brother. "This time, you achieved a good top 3 result in the provincial competition. You should be able to go straight back to the gym martial arts Longu. Congratulations." The Longu gym is one of the 4 great martial arts gyms of the country. Once you return, you will go to another level. Don't forget about us, your younger colleagues. The object of the flirt is a young man of about 24 or 25 years old. He is wearing a white practice suit. His eyes shine with a calm, fierce. "I need to get back to the gym martial arts to practice." Kingland stays. "The others, please, you can go." A girl with a ponytail, looking extraordinarily attractive, a young woman who was also wearing a practice suit, white, she smiled and nodded. Don Su, Wen Kingland, are students of the same promotion, both love martial arts, traditional ones, have excellent skills, passed the assessment of the Martial Arts Association, traditional. At 35 years old, you have turned into a licensed warrior. This time, you represent the University of Kings in the arts competition. Martial Arts of Hangan Province has obtained 3rd and 4th place respectively. The School of Arts Martial Longu is the biggest and best of the country, but you can only enter with a place in the top 3 provincial level. So Wen Kingland has missed this opportunity. On the way to back to school, her mood, it's been very bad. Just when every older brothers were preparing to leave, the door of Sanda Club was suddenly opened. There was Hisian Bakitian, with a mask of pain, hunched in the ground, like a shrimp. The 10 members of the ancient martial arts club frown. Where the teacher is Yan Batian, from the club of Sanda. "Who beat you like this?" So then, you calmly came out from inside. You found yourself face to face with them. A look at this group of students. Finally, your gaze stopped on Don Suyu. You feel a little surprised, because the physical condition of this boy, of tight clothing, has reached the first level of body refinement. The first level of body refinement is the lowest in the cultivation world. Strictly speaking, it is not possible to consider a cultivator, but in the blue planet, he is an expert. There is no problem in facing 10. You observe it briefly, and you prepare to leave. A short boy from the martial arts club screams at you. "How audacious, you dare to come to university and challenge me." You're a little dazed. "I'm from the university." The short boy was surprised at first, and then he screamed, "What are you saying? I'm from the arts club, ancient martial arts, of the university. I've never heard of anyone like you." "You can be the president of the club, Sanda. Watch what you say, boy." "I'm a new student of clinical class 2, Fen." Hearing this, everyone in the place, even Don Su and Wen Kingland, were stunned. "A new medical student, you hit the president of the Sanda Club this way." At that time, a member of the Sandra Club limps out of the hall activities, he complains, crying, "Older brother, you can't ignore this matter. We are like a family." Don Su frowns immediately. Upon hearing the member from the Sanda Club to tell the situation, he had an idea in mind. Every day, arts-related clubs, martial arts, of Kingda, all are led by the ancient martial arts club. In a situation like this, how could they not get involved immediately? The members of the Sanda Club are taken to the infirmary, and Sidu Se approaches you and looks at you with a look of admiration. "It seems that you have skills. Where you learned your skills?" Your tone is a little impatient. "At Xiaotong University?" "Xiaotong? Which Xiaotong?" "The University of Xiaotong from Kings or Vinais." "You are a transfer student. You are saying nonsense. that my grandfather taught me there. Don-soo was stunned for a moment, and then he smiled. Hey, hey, little brother, you are really very funny. How about we do this? Join the Ancient Arts Club. In Guago, we value martial arts. Warriors are the scarcest talents in society current. Should be a good promise. After hearing this, you wave your hand and shake your head. Turn around to go. Goodbye, good. Kingland is very angry and took 3 steps in 2 to block you. What's wrong with you, new student? Not everyone can enter our Ancient Martial Arts Club. From Kingda, do you know how much the salary is? Average of a warrior? You think to be doctor is exhausting and tiring? And neither, you don't even earn as much as a warrior in a month. Hearing this, you roll your eyes in white. You came to the university to hang out, Dr. Warrior. You do not want to be neither of the two. Sorry, I'm not really interested. Let me pass. You reach out and push Wen Kingland. Just when you were about to leave with disdain, suddenly, a gust of wind attacked your limbs from behind. From the Ancient Martial Arts Club were visibly excited. Big brother has made his move! Wen Kingland was scared, originally wanted blocked on you, but he has already reached the first level of body refinement. Speed is really too fast. At that moment, you lean to one side. It is you easy to dodge this kick from Don-soo. Don-soo shows you a smile of appreciation. Yes, I am fast among my peers. Few people can avoid my attacks. You point ahead and say, respectively, if you move one more finger, I will also send you to the infirmary. Do you believe me? Saying this, the members of the club martial arts burst into laughter. What an arrogant rookie! Has practiced a little 3-legged kung fu. He doesn't even consider his older brother good. Kingland looks at you with contempt. She thinks you are a new one who has skill, but your emotional intelligence is too low. Don-soo couldn't help it but laugh. Younger brother, you just have handled the Sanda, like the brother elder of the martial arts club of Kingda. Naturally, I can't let you go so easily. You are a little confused. So what do you want to do? Let's have a fight. Don-soo thought. It's also time that you, boy, realize the difference between a fan of martial arts and a certificated martial artist. Smiling. You raised your fist. Okay. No. Here. It is too crowded. We go to the gym, martial arts. There is room. Can deploy. Upon hearing this, you put a expression of displeasure. Why is it so complicated? Just fight. You followed him and others to the arts gym martial arts on the 5th floor. You discovered that there were several people trained here. Seeing that the older brother returned, everyone came to say hello. Congratulations to the older brother for being admitted into the gym, Nomo. You saw them chatting, you cheerfully asked, without expression on your face. I said, let's fight. Or not. Some 10 members of the art society, ancient martial arts, everyone looked confused. This strange young man. When they heard that Don-soo was going to have a fight with a new student, everyone exploded in laughter. Only he, fight with him, senior master, what a joke, with your body. With one blow from the black tiger, he will fall immediately. At that moment, in the second dojo, level, an old man, sitting with a cane, calmly watched the ring down. He shook his head and sighed. This Duguan family boy really is becoming more reckless. With the practice, perhaps, dares to compete with a new student. Doesn't worry about losing the prestige of the Duan family. In the art of 8 levels of silk, in the ring. Don-soo doesn't want to abuse you, insists on giving you 3 chances. It really makes you a little lazy to move, you say. Better you attack first. If not, soon, you will probably feel dissatisfied. Hearing this, the members of the dojo broke out in laughter. Hasn't happened for several years. Found someone as arrogant as you. Well, be careful. The cuffs do not have eyes. Don-soo suddenly made force in the back. A burst resounded between his muscles and bones, as if he was boiling beans. The rooster crows. The muscles resonate. Wei Kingland, in the audience, smiled and said, It seems that the teacher is really angry. This boy is going to have a bad time, challenging the teacher. Isn't that suicide? In that moment, Don-soo's gaze turned fierce and powerful, sank into his knees. His body shot out like an arrow. With that speed, a common person could not react at all. But in your eyes, his movements were so slow as a snail, you couldn't help it. Comment. With so many positions, and it gets so refined, I thought you were from the stage of the golden elixir. While you were saying nonsense, you raised your fist, and you threw to confront someone in the first stage of strengthening body. You really didn't bother to use any martial technique. You punched him hard, precise in the face. To Don-soo, you sent him flying, Only 2 jets of nasal blood dispersing into the air could be seen. In that moment, everyone opened their eyes like dishes. Even the old man with the cane, in the audience, he suddenly stood up. Below, the silence was absolute. Older brother of the arts club, martial arts, Donan-su, is known as the strongest man at the University of Kings, was killed in one blow by a new student. Is not really exciting. You feel discouraged, and you decide to get off the stage. You walk straight to the door of the martial arts gym. Wei Qinglan stops you. You throw her a look. What's wrong? You want to fight me? Who the hell are you too? Really? You are a new student of our school. I am from the second group of clinics. If you don't believe me, go check it out. After saying this, you are about to leave. The moment you realize, a strong wind blows again. And it is precisely Donsu. He cannot accept his public failure, continues to endure, and it attacks you again. It's starting to annoy you, have become addicted to ambushing. You turn it over immediately, and you grab the foot that Doansu is kicking to the opposite side. Only a creaking sound can be heard. Immediately the martial arts dojo was filled with the heartbreaking Donsu cry, "Ah, my foot." A group of martial arts club members ran towards him immediately. Looking at him, in fear, calls an ambulance. What you are waiting? Quickly, call one ambulance. I can't lose my foot. You are wait, this isn't over. You're dead. You don't even look at it. You just put your hands in your pockets and you leave the dojo. You think to yourself, no one else in the university will dare to bother me, right? At that moment, Senior, called Wen Qinglan, calls you again. You turn around, impatiently. You notice that there is an old man, dressed in a suit. Next to her, the old man must be over 70 years old, with a cane of rosewood and full of hair, gray-haired man, is looking at you with a complex look. Some students who passed saw him and said, "Hello, old director." You hear them calling him back. You give Wentz an exasperated look, reporting so quickly that you are ingenious. Wen Qinglan was about to explain something. The old man with the cane said, laughing, "I didn't expect that. In this new generation of students, King's University will be hiding a high-level martial arts expert. You don't know where your young teacher is from, friend," you answer calmly. "I'm just a normal student." The old man with the cane frowned. "A normal student can beat Chao Duan in a just hit? You know, young friend Xiaon just got 3rd place in the youth category of the martial arts tournament of Hangnan. An excellent result. Third, the school already has decided to make a recommendation to him for the Dragon and Tiger Temple. I didn't know about the martial arts tournament. I don't know what kind of martial arts school is this. I just know that he is very bad." Wei Qinglan listened to you insulting her older brother, was so angry that she wanted to yell at you. But to think that her older brother was defeated in one blow. Not even he was able to defend himself from a surprise attack. She was speechless and felt disappointed. The old man with the cane put serious. "Young man, come to my office to talk for a moment. You just broke his foot inside the campus. The matter is much more serious than it seems. If it weren't for me mediating, your path in martial arts could have been interrupted forever. You wouldn't know how to explain to your mother if you get expelled from university. So you followed the old director. While you were walking, you found out that this old man director's name is Wen Yu. He's Wen Qinglan's grandfather. Is also the former director of King's University. Has a lot of steam in school. When arriving the school, he asked Wen Qinglan to make you a cup of tea, then told you, with your skills, you could not have developed without the guidance of a teacher of transformation. Who is your respected teacher? Even if I said it, you don't know him." Wen Qinglan showed a very discontented face. "You have arrogance. My grandfather is a permanent director of the Association of Martial Arts of King's Province. Throughout King So, and even in the region of Hang'an, there is no master of transformation. There is no one whom he doesn't know." He smiled without saying anything. "This is obviously true when you see this." You responded naturally. "My teacher's road name is Hang." When listening to this, Wen Qinglan was stunned. "Yao Wan? A woman? Egg?" He frowned. "That is a man of the road. Your teacher is a Taoist. The Taoists are different. Of the warriors, the first cultivates soul techniques, the second trains his body in martial arts." But he mentally reviewed the list of powerful of the South he also did not know about, a Taoist woman named Yao Hang. Of course he didn't know her because the teacher Yao Hang was the previous supreme elder from the infinite pure Yang Palace of the small land of the South, a great cultivator at the peak of the stage of Yuan Ying. 1500 years ago, due to an accident, Zhafan became disciple of teacher Zhaoan, became her disciple with the minor talent, but through an unceasing effort, gradually became the most outstanding disciple of the entire palace. Pure, infinite yang. The most outstanding disciple, however, later, Yao Hang, failed in his attempt to break the transformation stage of spirit. Her soul was scattered. With this, the infinite pure yang palace lost. An old supreme chief, Xenophon, also lost his teacher. In the following days, Xenophon often recalled the scene in the center of the lake that day. He regretted he didn't acted. If he did something, he could have saved his teacher. You came out of your memories, and you said, my teacher is the high eight that lives in reclusion. It is not strange that you have not heard about her. Wuzhou nodded. I see. Let's talk about serious things. A moment ago, I checked. Xian's wounds are serious and will not recover well, less than 6 months. I guess the family Dutan won't leave you alone, you asked with a serene face. The Dutan family are very mighty? Well, King Shuso frowned. You don't know anything about the family. You're not from King So. Yes, but my parents are common people. It is not surprising. Durafian family is a powerful family of King So his power is comparable to that of our family, have quite a few warriors. Under their command, you have been put in big problems. The only way to solve this now is to find, quickly, a support. You smiled with a low laugh. We'll seek support in your family. The when Kingland family has got angry, when he saw you, do you think our family, would like to welcome you? Our family has good relations with the Martial Arts Association. We don't want to get into trouble, is not only a complete mastery of the force external. Wentgini made a gesture with the hand. It's okay, Kingen. Don't talk anymore, young friend. At your young age, you have already mastered the external force. You can sign up for the long gym exam. Once you pass the exam, I will speak well to you. If you admit you have made a mistake, maybe the family Duhian will let you go. Upon hearing that, you shook your head. Forget it, it's too complicated. Hey, Grandpa is saving life. What attitude is that? You put down your cup of tea and stood up calmly. Thank you, good old man, for your kind intention, but still it's not what I need. As soon as he finished speaking, a hurried knock on the door resounded. A teacher with glasses opens the door, soaked in sweat. The old director reported, bad business has come from the Duan family. They come to look for this boy. Guards can't stop them, friend. Young man, wait well. He tried to stop. Jeffan did not expect the second one. Ignore him. And just walked out the door from the office into the hallway quickly. You were stopped by a strong man. This man must be around 40 years. His skin is a tanned tone, and he has a robust body. Behind him, there were a lot of guards lying down. Everyone was holding their abdomens, moaning and unable to get up. He opened his mouth and asked you, do you know someone called Jeffan? It's me, what's up? So that my young master is the one you hurt. You nodded your head. Yes, you young master's surname is Duan. Then yes, it was me who did it, good boy. You are quite sincere. Right at that moment, when Kingland and her grandfather left the office, Wen stood beside you. His voice had a touch of seriousness. Iron Fun Savan, you dare to cause trouble in the King Da territory. You do not fear that the Martial Arts Association returns you to catch. Iron Savan smiled and did a bow. Old gentleman of the Wen family. Long time no see. I hope you are well, but this does not bother you concerns. I come under the orders of the chief from the family. Come take this boy back. Wen Zhao stomped his cane on King's University. That's a matter of mine. Barely finished speaking, you directly interrupted his performance. Good old man, this really is not your matter. You better not get involved. W.N. Zhao was completely speechless. Does this boy really have a brain? Even though Chobi is not an expert in the world of martial arts, has at least practiced martial arts for several decades. How big is Jeffan? What an experience of combat he has. Tootie released a series of laughter. Ha ha ha, old man. You heard him? Quote, this guy doesn't even appreciate your kindness. Speaking of the young people of today, you interrupted. If you are gonna fight, act quick. The man laughed coolly. Youngsters of today, they are all as brave as newborn calves. Like a veteran, it seems I must teach them a lesson. After finishing speaking, he raised his right leg very high. The back of the foot arched, and the fingers reached inside. It looked like a poisonous snake that sticks out its tongue. However, its base remained extremely stable. Note that he is an expert in training the legs. Quote, suddenly, a black shadow moves. The foot of the 7 of feet flew past. It was like a bullet coming out of the bedroom, was going straight to kicks towards your chest. Knew that his young master had mastered the Badanhin quite well. This young man in front of him should not be underestimated, so he decided to attack with all his strength to defeat the enemy in one hit. If this hit connected, a person would not die badly, but yes, would be seriously injured. But half seconds later, he missed the blow completely, because suddenly you disappeared into the air without giving it a go, time to react. His left foot, that was holding the ground, was hit by a heartbreaking pain. The 7 of feet demonic immediately began to scream from pain. You could only see that his foot left had become a pile of sore flesh. His shoe, the cloth was completely soaked with blood, was a gruesome scene. You point at the face with mockery techniques. Three-legged combat, he also came out to making a fool of himself, seems to have been annoyed by the noises of the 7 feet of iron. You gave him another kick, you kicked him until leaving him unconscious. The two members of the Jin family look at you stunned and without words, and you walk away in silence with a carefree expression. When Kinglin rubbed her eyes, "How can it be this, Grandpa? I'm not exaggerating, right?" When Yo's gaze was full of astonishment. What an impressive speed! At such a young age, he has reached this level. I don't know where this expert comes from. His ability to have formed such a formidable disciple is, indeed, in comparison with Jiefun's strength, Zhao was more impressed by his mental state. To destroy a warrior of great external ability is like stepping on a grasshopper, without blushing, or being unsettled. This state of calm is really rare. In your life, it's something that's rarely seen. Currently, the network is very developed. The news that Iron Paw 7 of Fin was incapacitated by a university student soon spread throughout the Hangnan martial arts circle and was the subject of conversation and rumors. In a private estate in Kingso, a man of middle age, with a hairstyle in Mediterranean style, was reviewing the news on his phone, and his expression became more and more serious. He is Duan Rong, the head of the Duan family. Duan Rong, the father of Do Su. A moment later, a butler entered through the door. "Please inform Mr. Ironleg if you are more hurt than the young master. All the tendons and bones of the sole of his left foot have been crushed, nerves are dead. In the next life he will have to walk with a cane." Hearing this, Duan Ron frowned. What a fierce boy has cleared up the situation. What kind of person is this Ifan? He is from Danyan? He studies medicine at King's Miss University. My subordinates have also found out that now he lives in Su Jin-san's house. Rong looks somewhat surprised after listening. That is one of Su's family. It is still not clear. Continue investigating with whom he learned martial arts. What relationship has he with Su family? Find everything you can. Besides, bring me to Tao. When listening to the name of Tua Tao, the butler was clearly surprised, because this person is the strongest acquaintance the Duan family has raised. Quote, "He is a guy, hard, with the greatest force. Boss of the family. We should let the Martial Association take care of this. Intentionally causing injury may be punished with 10 years. When free, that boy, he will be finished too." Duan Ron's eyes shone with a cold light. "First, break both of his legs. Afterwards, it will be time to hand it over to the Martial Association. Doing this to my son cannot be solved just by putting him in prison." Well, you didn't even take them seriously. Family Duan affairs. A family rich from a small place. Not even they have a basic level assured. You skipped class this afternoon, left the campus, and you quietly went to a nearby farmer's market. You bought some beef and free-range chicken. You were ready to take it to the store so that Emil could prepare it. You just took out the phone to pay, and you realized that Susuyan had called you more than 10 times. When dialing on the other side of the line, the anxious voice of Susuyan came over the phone. "Jie-fan, you finally answered the phone. Where are you now? Are you fine?" You were a little surprised. Why this girl suddenly becomes interested in me? But still, you answered. What could happen to me? Do the people of the Santa Club took you? Oh, that? Then I met the director, and they let me go. You have something else, don't you? If not, I hang up. I'm buying vegetables. You hung up as if you were anxious. Why will you call me, Su Xuan? Angry, hung up first. Yan Tan asked with concern. Su-yan, how is D? Isn't he going to end up in the hospital, right? He was lucky to meet the director. That's fine. By the way, didn't Aunt Yao ask you to inform Begley? We're going to have dinner at the Intercontinental Hotel this evening. Susuyanyan stayed for a moment in shock status, but remembering the tone, impatient, of the other person, it took away the spirit of taking out the phone. In the end, it was Yan Tan who called you. Street Sinyu, Top floor of Diamond Club Min, Bai Xiao looked at a bag of mushrooms that was at the bar, raised his hand, and slapped Zhang Kai. I told you to look for poison, and you bring me this? Zhang Kai covered his red face and said, feeling very unfairly treated. Brother Chow, you are accusing unfairly. You don't know about these mushrooms. They are called green ghost hand. They come from the Innan region and are highly poisonous. Not to mention a student, even a cow could fall. Bai Xiao's eyes light up 9 times. Really? Really, this type of mushroom has killed many people long ago. They are no longer allowed to be sold, but I have contacts to get a little. It's not which boss usually eats at that restaurant of barbecue. We are going to add this to some dishes. Then, some brothers brought a stray dog from outside. Yanka put on gloves and crushed the guide hands and mixed it with the food for dogs. Gave a little of the mixture to the stray dog. Did not pass much time, and the stray dog began to drool and fell dead to the ground. At that moment, Chow laughed coldly. Boss! Ah, boss, in the next life, reincarnates with brighter eyes. Of course, you can't provoke any person. At 7 o'clock at night, you took a taxi and arrived at the Hotel Intercontinental. The waiter took you to the luxury private room on the 6th floor. The Susuyan family, including the butler, Fan Yi and Aunt Yao, was also there. Reserved a place especially right for you besides Susuyan. Su Jin-san looked at you smiling. Shahan, I heard what you did today at school. Yao Jin asked with curiosity. Husband, what happened to this guy? In the first day of school, he gave her a beating of several elderly people, is said to be from the Sanda Club. Several ended up in the hospital. You feel too worried. It seems that the matter of Dansu and Tin Zhao has already been silenced by old Wen. Susu Yanyan and Hyuntang looked at each other with surprise. You did not say that you met the director. They left you. You smiled slightly. It's obvious that I cheated on you. Upon hearing this, Susu Yanyan immediately became enraged. You damn! While Hyuntang laughed at your attitude, but Yao Jin frowned and criticized. Xiaofan, how can you fight? It was very difficult to get into university, King So. If you get expelled, your mother will be so sad. Aunt Yao, they provoked me first, but that doesn't mean that it is okay to fight. Hi, Jin-san smiled and moved his hand. Haha, no problem. In our country, we value and practice martial arts. It is normal for young people to have fights. Wife, it's that I thought about it with Xiaofan's skills. Wouldn't it be great if he was Suyan's bodyguard? You shook your head secretly. So, his Jin-san still has not given up on this. Yao Jin frowned and said, the most important thing for university students is to study, Jin. You also have to think about our daughter. She is so beautiful. There have been too many boys who have harassed her. Since she was little, I will also offer him a salary of 20,000 a month that already exceeds 90% of the salaries in King So. When he graduates, also can start work directly in the group. The important thing is that Zhao Fan is someone from trust. This is more comforting. What do you think, wife? Yoing, after listening, felt that what he said was somewhat right, but she is afraid of hurting your pride, so she asked cautiously, Xiaofan, what do you think? At that moment, Susuyan pursed her lip, unhappy. Mom, Dad, I don't need any bodyguard. Su Jin-san threw her a fierce look. Shut up, here you have no voice here. You pretended to think for a long time. You finally shook your head. I'm sorry, uncle. I'm not interested in the position as bodyguard for his daughter. Xiaofan, can you tell me why? If it is a salary problem, we can talk about it again. You answered honestly, no, it's mainly a money problem. It's just that I don't get along with Susuyan. When hearing this, Susuyanyan interrupted. I immediately correct myself. It is I who do not get along well with you. You added something else. If you had a character like Hyuntang, I would not need salary. I would protect her for free, of course. This only is a joke of yours. It's just that the president from Earth has arrived, nor does he have the right to have him as his bodyguard. Susuyanyan pointed at you and almost cried with rage. You are really trying to provoke problems in our friendship. How embarrassing. His Jin-san moved his hand and left, passing the matter on. Oh, that's it. Soon, the kitchen served the 10 dishes, each filled with color, aroma, and flavor. But Susuyanyan was so angry that she couldn't eat anything, and you, instead, enjoyed the food. At that moment, a waiter pushed a cart and came in with another plate. Butler Farron took a look and realized it was a soup of mushrooms, very fragrant. He was a little confused. It doesn't seem like we ordered this. The waitress smiled and said, Sir, this is a gift from our hotel. It's only offered when consumption reaches a certain standard. The fan butler nodded. Then take it as is. As the soup was closer to you, and you immediately poured yourself a bowl. but you barely took a sip and realized something was wrong. You saw that Susu Yunyan was also pouring a bowl, and you quickly grabbed it. "You can't have this soup," you said with a serious expression. "Why are you stealing my soup?" Susu Yunyan asked, confused. "There's poison in it," you replied very seriously. "This is a deadly Hansen mushroom that would kill a normal person immediately. Only one could kill an elephant. But as you are built different, you enjoyed it." But then, you realized Susu Yunyan also had a bowl. So, you set out to snatch it from her and inform her that the soup was poisoned. Susu Yunyan thought you were pranking her and almost fainted with anger. Yao Hing looked at you in confusion. "Farron, what's going on? You seem so certain." "Aunt Yao, uncle's son, this soup is poisoned." Both parents look at each other and cannot believe it. The waitress arrived and told him that they have prepared the soup with a poisonous mushroom. But was that they took away the poison from it, then Susuyan was going to eat another bowl. But you took the bowl out of her hand and told the waitress that if it isn't poisoned, you can drink it without problem. The waitress had an uncomfortable expression. "Excuse me, sir, we have a policy in our company." "I think it is not a policy," you answered. Sijin-san was a bit angry, reassuring you that it was okay because that was a 5-star hotel and the chef wouldn't commit a mistake so basic, so sit down and eat. Himian Ting asked you. "You said that this was a poisonous sup, and you drank one, wouldn't you die in a bit?" Then you are left speechless. Thanks to your training as a cultivator, you've developed immunity to any kind of poison, but you cannot tell them that. You looked at the mushroom soup and said, "I've studied Chinese medicine. I can assure you 100% that this soup is toxic and contains a deadly poison." In that moment, the waitress's eyes blinked twice. Susu Yanyan opened her mouth in shock. "Dad, Mom, wouldn't he be telling the truth?" Su Jin-san decided to send the soup to be investigated and analyzed. Susu Yanyan leaned back in her chair, still seeming confused. "You say the soup has poison, but why didn't anything happen to you when you drank it?" You smiled sarcastically. "Maybe Miss Su is interested in me, and that's why she knows I drank the soup." Susu Yanyan's face blushed, and she turned away. The waitress, no longer submissive, spoke with a touch of coldness. "Your medical skills are impressive. You can neutralize the poison of Hansen So." You looked at her and smiled. "You finally threw up the act. Of course, the experts are gone. There is no need to act anymore." The waitress pulled out a gun with a silencer from under her service cart and pointed it directly at Jin-san. His Hinan didn't change expression, hands resting on the table, and said seriously, "It seems like a strategy to divert the tiger from the mountain." Exactly, Fanji, the great expert in martial arts, an expert in inner energy, really cannot compete in front of him, so we can just do some machinations. Finally, you no longer pretended to be an expert. They're gone, of course. There's no more need to pretend to be a waitress. "Speak! Put all your phones on the table." 4 immediately obeyed. You only stood there without moving. The waitress pointed the gun at you. "Hey, did you hear what I said? Take out your phone." At that moment, Jin-san stood up. Suddenly, he launched himself towards the waitress and shouted at the same time. Sunyan quickly escape, however, was not successful, because this woman turned out to be an external energy fighter. With a kick, she launched him 5 meters away. The waitress laughed with a mocking smile. "Thing that doesn't know it's dead." Then she approached you with the gun and said seriously, "Phone, take it out quickly." You smiled slightly and began to speak in silence, like a murderer. "You are too incompetent. What did you say? You are about to die. What other nonsense are you saying? Talk too much. It shouldn't be a professional killer." The waitress with the gun in hand sounded coldly, "None of your business. As long as I can fulfill the mission, what's wrong with having some fun? Sorry, it seems that you will not be able to complete this mission." After saying this, opening his hand, you launched yourself straight towards her gun. "You are seeking death." When you saw that you dared to snatch the weapon, a cold light shone in the eyes of the murderer. She did not hesitate, pulled the trigger. Susuyanya Nijanan screamed in terror. At the next moment, according to the scene of flesh and blood that imagined, didn't appear. They just saw that you wrapped the tip of the gun with your whole hand, surprisingly intact. Only a trace of smoke came out between the murderer's fingers. The murderer almost popped her eyes out. How is it possible? Jin-san was also stunned. How could a hand stop a bullet? The killer did not hesitate, pulled the trigger again. 3 shots followed. This time, she was sure that the bullet had come out, but she didn't know why your hand was not hurt, and your face was completely impassive. The killer tried to take the gun away, but the person in front of her was incredibly strong. She could not achieve it, not at all. "I can't believe it!" And when she pulled the trigger of the gun again, suddenly it exploded with a bang, instantly shattered her hand, leaving her in a mess, screaming in pain, and fell to the ground, writhing. Jantan almost ran out of brain power. What is happening? You approach, cover Hyuntang's eyes and say, "Don't see, Hyuntang." Hyuntang trembles slightly, suddenly feeling a warmth in her heart. At that moment, Yaojin finally reacts. She rushes to run and check your wounds, but realizes that in your clean hand, not even a scratch. Once the crisis is deactivated, Jinsan quickly grabs a chair and hits the murderer, leaving her unconscious. Then, she looks at you with an expression of astonishment. "Shan, your hand, uncle. Thank goodness this person had a jam in his gun. I don't." Hearing this, Yao Hing launches into a hug and starts crying. "Silly boy, if something happens to you, how do I explain it to your mother?" You smile bitterly and say, "At that moment, the situation was urgent. I couldn't worry about a lot. Nothing happened." Fuji came running, panting, his face full of apologies. "I'm sorry, President. It's my fault." Jinsan sat back down on the chair and moved his hand. "I don't blame you. I fell for her strategy to divert the tiger from the mountain. By the way, old Farn, what about that soup?" Fanji looked at you first before saying, "Is really deadly, according to the laboratory staff. The mushrooms in the soup are hitty and outrage. Their toxicity is very high." The whole family looked at you, especially Susuyanyan, amazed when she remembered the words he just said. Her face blushed, turned red like a tomato. Su Jin-san had a sorry expression. "Little Fan, it turns out that everything you said is true." "I'm sorry. I misunderstood you." Janan admires you even more. "Brother, my God, Brother Dali, you are amazing." You smile slightly. "That's it?" Everything at that moment, Yao Lin approaches you. She quickly grabs you and heads off straight out. "Not with such a powerful poison, Chao Fan. I must take you to the hospital for a checkup." Suddenly, you feel in trouble, but you can do nothing against her. The only thing you can do is to follow her. The killer was taken away by the police who arrived later. The hotel has become a mess. The manager was held responsible overnight. He lost his job. At the Garden Villa of Roses, Jisan and Fanji sit together to discuss you. When they mention that you used your hand to block the gun barrel, Fanji denied firmly with his head. Block a bullet with the palm at such a short distance, not even a master can come out unscathed. Not even the stage of transformation cannot do it. Unless it's the legendary Grand Master of Martial Arts who can refine his true energy to protect himself. Jinsan realized, if it is so, it's really a problem of the gun? Fanji was silent. He knew that this statement was also very forced. A gun from a murderer. How could it get stuck so easily and explode? But Fan, at such a young age, is even less likely to be a big martial arts master. Jinsan had a gloomy face. "Old Farron, contact the police tomorrow. I want to know as soon as possible who the person really is who wants to kill me." "Yes, President." On the other side, when you came back from the hospital, it was almost 11. In an Audi at 8 a.m., Yaoin passed you a bank card. She said, somewhat embarrassed, "Ciao, Fan. Thanks for saving our family tonight. No blame, Auntie Yao, for being materialistic. This card has funds. The password is your birthday. Take it and buy you something. If you ever need money in the future, talk to Aunt Yao." You did not say one word. You just took the card and put it in your pocket. "Thanks, Aunt Yao." Yao Jin smiled softly. Thought this child is sincere and direct. He really is to her liking. Then Yoen left in her car. You did not return directly to the garden villa, but you prepared to go to the Lime barbecue shop. The comedy of tonight left you without eating well. When arriving at the store, Limai took out the ingredients you brought in the afternoon. She started preparing dinner in no time. But among all the food, you saw an ingredient that was very familiar to you. Hein Lemay was standing to one side. When seeing your serious expression, she looked a little confused. "What's wrong, Xiao Fan? You don't like these dishes, Aunt May? I've never seen this dish before." You took the chopsticks, took a piece of Hansen, and put it in your mouth to chew it. They are still raw. Hansen toxicity is even stronger. Lai Mei smiled radiantly upon hearing that you called her Aunt May. "This is a fresh mushroom that I got from an acquaintance. Comes from Innan, costing more than 100 yuan per half a kilo. Really crazy, Aunt May. You have spent a lot. Keep enjoying this dish of sautéed mushrooms with meat." To tell the truth, although this Hansen is poisonous, it's really delicious. However, mortals cannot enjoy a bite of this delicacy, and you would be dead instantly. Spending too much in what? All this is your money? Lai smiled innocently. She meant the 100,000 you gave her a few days ago. While you were eating, you said this mushroom is delicious, Aunt May. Where did you buy it? Call me to go together tomorrow. I'll take some for my friends too. That's the place where you bought vegetables this morning, Gojun Farmer's Market? You nodded your head. However, in your eyes, there was a ray of coldness in them. At that time, there were about 10 people scattered, sitting in the restaurant. 2 thugs on the corner all had an expression of surprise on their faces. I said, "This boy has been eating for a long time, how come nothing has happened to him?" While you were eating, I was chatting with Limai. You found out from her that in the kitchen, there were some big Hyolian soin. So, you suggested going to take a look. Then you got up and went to the kitchen. The 2 thugs approached your table to see the situation. One of them took some chopsticks and stirred what was left of the meat tray sautéed with mushrooms. You're saying that the mushrooms have been good cooked. I have heard that those poisonous mushrooms, once cooked, toxicity is completely lost. You're right. Another bully ate a piece of mushroom. After chewing a couple of bites, he quickly praised, "This is delicious. It's very fresh. I can't believe it." You're crazy? You dare to eat this? Bah! What are you afraid of, that boy? He just ate for a while, and nothing happened to him, but right after saying that, he suddenly began to feel dizziness. In a state of confusion, saw many little men pulling his hand and dancing around it. Then, with a rumble, fell to the ground and did nothing more. In the kitchen, you found those Yansin fresh, and you discovered accidentally containing a little spiritual energy. Although the amount was remarkably scarce, it was enough to surprise you. You had just packed 3 Hansen in a plastic bag when you heard a commotion outside. I ran with Li Mei, and the look we discovered that a hair bully short was lying on the ground, vomiting foam from the mouth, and convulsing, and his skin had a tone slightly greenish. Plus, there was a little bully with a crouch earring on his side, with an expression of intense anxiety. Li Mei, scared, quickly called the ambulance. At that time, the little bully with earring pointed at Li Mei and insulted, "You are the one who poisoned him. Mushrooms in this meat dish sautéed are not common. Are poisonous mushrooms from the Lingnan region?" Immediately, the establishment was in a commotion. Almost a dozen eyes were watching Li Mei in terror. Li Mei, in panic, you pointed and said, "Impossible. Right now, he ate half a plate, and nothing happened to him. How could it be poisoned?" Seeing this, you let out a cold laugh and grabbed the plate. You put the remains of mushrooms and meat in your mouth and began to chew with great eagerness. Everyone looks carefully at this. It really is a poisonous mushroom. Could I still be alive? Waited here talking for a long time, and I didn't see anything strange in you. Only then did the clients present feel relieved. The little bully with earring was speechless with a red face. You closed your eyes and suddenly screamed, "You 2 have been looking at me since I walked through the door. You even came especially to eat my food. What do you want to do? Bai Xiao sent you both?" No, I don't know. Who is that Bai Xiao you are talking about? Listen, it was definitely Bai Xiao, the little thug broke, crying on his death team. "Mate, lazy, my brother, you have died in such a tragic way. You pushed with a kick. Get out of the way. He has not yet died." Immediately, you put your hand on the bully's chest, poisoned. With your index finger, you channeled a ray of true energy. Did not pass long time. The poisoned bully began to vomit and have diarrhea. The symptoms immediately began to cure. At that moment, the doctor from the emergency service also arrived. After analyzing, Mana gave a preliminary diagnosis. Others ate, and nothing happened to them. This boy ate, and he started vomiting with a confused mind. It should be an allergic reaction. Hearing this, Li Mei finally felt relieved. If the news spread, food poisoning in the restaurant, then she wouldn't have to continue opening. When she managed to recover, she realized that you had already gone without her knowing. In a Zhu El Food Street alley, the thug wearing earrings was beaten until he was left with his face full of bruises. "Don't hit more, brother! I'll tell you everything. It's Brother Chow. He sent me." Jinen was also the one who forced the vegetable seller to sell it to Li Mei. Hearing this, a flash of murderous intent crossed your eyes. Your principle, when doing things, is that 1 time and 2. It's okay, but not 3 times. Bai Xiao has already touched your sensitive spot. Little after 1 a.m., in the club of the famous Diamonds, Bai Xiao and his brothers were having fun in the private room. The blind hair bully John Kai held his glass and smiled. "Brother Chow," Lazy called and said that he saw Jake Fan with his own eyes eat the Janine. At this time, he probably already encountered the King Yama. Brother Chow was comfortably sitting on the couch, smoking. Hee, a brat. And he hasn't even grown up yet completely, and already wants to fight with me. Guan Lover snuggled into his arm, smiling seductively. "Brother Chow, Li Mei has entered. What do you plan to do with that barbecue shop? We only have to hire another merchant on the street. Su has a lot of customer traffic. There is always something. While Chow was speaking directly through the ashes on the round thigh of Wan Chima. By the way, I heard that Limai has a daughter named Subang Wan. I've seen photos, and is quite pretty. Who among you can bring it? Janai quickly put down his half-empty glass and said excitedly, Brother Chow, I will go. I am the best in this kind of thing. The husband from Limai is called Sual Chow. In addition, he owes hundreds of thousands to our company. That damn player. Let's not talk about him. Make him sell his daughter. He even would sell his mother for that. Well, John Kai, go for his daughter now. I want the interests of hundreds of thousands. It's okay, bro. Just wait. After saying that, soon, a middle-aged man, aged, with overweight and large dark circles, arrived, accompanied by a student, sweet and pure-looking college girl. The university student arrived at Diamond Club. Su Bangwang asked, somewhat embarrassed, Dad, what if someone else is coming to help her? Your friend is drunk. I'm afraid I can't help you either. Bangwan. I'm gonna be honest with you. This friend of mine can make me rich. We just have to help him, and all our problems will disappear, Bangwan replied, annoyed. Since I was little, all my tuition and my expenses have been paid by Mom. Have you ever brought a penny home? You better pay your bills before talking about her. She turned around and wanted to leave. Suai Chow quickly stopped her and begged her for good. Please, help your dad one last time. When I get money, I will buy you whatever you want. Bangwan couldn't resist her biological father. He could only follow him to the second floor, where they arrived at a luxurious private room. As soon as she entered, she felt that something was not right. The people in the private room had their hair dyed in different bright colors. They were smoking. As they entered, she almost fainted from the smell of smoke. John Kai saw Suai Chow and approached. Brother Kao has arrived. Suai Chow smiled from ear to ear, was thinking about exchanging some words with John Kai, but he ignored him and walked straight to her. He looked her up and down. This is your daughter. How pretty she is. Won't it be that your wife is cheating on you? If not, how can you have such a beautiful daughter? Kai, you are a great joker. Suai Chow smiled with a forced laugh. Then he asked Bangwan, This is Jakai, greet him please. At that moment, Bangwan's eyes were already red, was squeezing fists with rage. You didn't say your friend was drunk. Do you want me to help you? Which one of them is drunk? Hearing this, Suai Chow became stunned and did not know what to answer. Meanwhile, John Kai fell to the side and acted as if he was drunk, and walked in an unstable way. Oh sister, your father has reason. I'm drunk. Haha. Kai, your acting is amazing. More of 10 thugs, including Bai Xiao, looked with great interest this good show. I'm leaving. Stay here. You alone. Bamguan threw a phrase to them and turned around to try to escape. But Yanai grabbed her by the hand and brought her back. He said with a smirk, Since you're here, join the brothers for a couple. I don't know how to drink. Parao, let me go. Bangwan fought with all her might, and she cast a helpful glance at her biological father. But what she received was a beastly response. Bangwan, only join them for a couple of drinks. When I'm done, Dad will take you home. Suai Chow, you let your own daughter go to drink. Are you no longer human? Bangwan completely exploded, crying as if tears were falling. Good sister, why are you crying about? Don't worry, brother will help you get revenge. John Kai first kindly dried the tears of his Bangwan, then turned around and kicked Chow a few meters away. Hee, sister. Let me tell you the truth. The truth is your father owes us 400,000 with interests, a total of 650,000. He already has sold you to us. Ha ha ha. When seeing this situation, Bangwan could only try to show a fierce look. If you dare to touch me, my boyfriend won't let you escape. Hearing this group of bullies not only did not get scared, but they started laughing out loud. Bai Xiao, while smoking a cigarette, asked, Sister, your boyfriend is called Yefan? Yes, my boyfriend is Yefan. He has practiced martial arts and is very strong. Hearing this, Bai Xiao burst into laughter, as if he had heard a joke. Su Bangwan asked with some confusion, What are you laughing at? Sister, your little boyfriend really is very good. We have already experienced this. What's the point of coming back? I'll tell you the truth. Jefan is currently in the hospital receiving emergency care, but probably won't survive. Su Bangwan was stunned. What? Hospital emergency care? What have you done to him? Quote, Chow did not respond, instead made a gesture with his hand and swept his gaze. All of you, leave. The blonde, though, made a sign with his hand. He left laughing with a group of his subordinates, and Chao, Jinjinhua, could only sigh with resignation. Seeing this, she came straight out of the club. Mingan came to the door and started smoking. A man approached, a familiar face. She was stunned by. Immediately. Then pointing you said, out stuttering, "How are you still alive? It seems that poisoned me. You also have a part in this." Huan Jinoa knows your head well. She quickly threw away the cigarette and shook her head with all her might. No. I only know that I have not participated. By the way, your girlfriend is up. Bai Xiao is about to make her something horrible. Hearing this, you feel quite confused and wonder, when did a girlfriend appear for me like this? Then you question, who are you talking about? Sun Baoguan, is she not your girlfriend? Hearing this, your eyebrows raise. After that, you enter quickly to the Diamond Club. Hang Qinhua also followed quickly into the luxurious hall. Bai Xiao took a glass of liquor and smiled, looking at his Bangguan. Help! Help! Bangguan was curled up in a corner, screamed like a kitten. Sheltered, the tears fell like pearls from a broken thread. Scream! Scream until you no longer have a voice. No one will come to save you. This is my territory. After saying that, Bai Xiao extended his claw towards Sub Bangguan. However, the girl, quick on the uptake, suddenly dodged. She ran desperately towards the door from the cubicle. Unfortunately, her hair was too long, and Bai Xiao grabbed it and dragged her back. Bai Xiao gave her a hard slap to Bangguan in the face. He hit her so hard that she fell to the sofa and disoriented. Damn it, you're playing hide and seek with me. Bai Xiao spat on the ground. He was ready to act directly. Right at that moment, a commotion was heard outside the cubicle. Someone was screaming, and you could hear sounds of punches and kicks. But seconds later, everything fell silent. He opened the door and shouted angrily, Yan Kai, what the hell are you up to? But when he took a look, his expression froze. Because the hallway was full of his minions, the laments were intertwined and resonated. An innocent and familiar face, he seemed to have seen a ghost, looking at you as if you would have come back from the dead. You, how are you here? You started to speak calmly. I remember that a while ago, a couple of days ago, I told you not to touch Limai barbecue store, otherwise I burst your head. It seems that you have not heard. Bai Xiao, being an old monster at the Yan Ying stage, he did not want to kill the mortals of Blue Star, but if the parasites keep coming back again and again, you can only send them with the creator. He thought he had already been poisoned and dead. I didn't expect anything to happen to you, and still, annihilate all the subordinates. He was just going to beg for his life, but had not finished speaking. You appeared before him, as if teleport, and punched him in the stomach, among the 5 organs of the human body. The liver is the softest. Upon receiving that blow, it broke. Immediately, a large amount of blood gushed out. Of him, knelt on the ground, unable to speak out of pain. At that time, Sub Bangguan sat in a daze, watching with surprise. You approached her with the right hand. You gently pressed the back of her neck, and she fainted. Then you said indifferently, "It's okay, sleep for a while." In that moment, Yan Kai burst into the room with 2 thugs. You didn't know about where he had gotten a gun. With a gun in his hand, Yan Kai felt he looked at you with much more confidence, defiant. Hangin, not far away, thought that things were not going well. I forgot that Bai Xiao had a gun. Jiang Kai turned around and ordered to take Brother Chao to the hospital. The 2 thugs, obeying, were about to move. But you let out a cry of anger. Today, nobody leaves. Damn you, little bunny. Do you think what I have in my hand is a toy gun? After saying that, Janai unlocked the gun and approached. He spat out 2 words at you, kneel down. Suddenly, your figure blinked like a specter. You teleport behind Jiang Kai. Whom? You made to kneel down? Jiang Kai was scared. Immediately turn around, but you disappeared again. He could only aim the gun at everywhere, but couldn't find your figure at all. A moment after, your calm voice echoed in the private room. Do you really think that with a gun, you are invincible? Foolish mortal, you have no idea how insignificant you are in my eyes. You are no different than a pest in a tree. Seeing this, Yan Kai stood. He nervously fired his gun at random with both hands. Damn brat, I will kill you. However, he fired only a few times. His voice suddenly stopped. A creaking sound clear followed immediately after. Then Jiang Kai fell to the ground, screaming. His forearm left formed a right angle of 90 grades. The bone had protruded from the skin. The blood was pouring out in torrents. His gun fell to the ground. You picked it up. You effortlessly shot Jiang Kai that was on the ground. Wan Chino and two of his subordinates at his side were shouting, terrified. They ran away quickly. But who would have imagined that you would open your fingers and make a captured in the air? The three were immediately dragged back by an invisible force. Fell heavily to the ground. The two subordinates got up and kneeled before you. Sorry, elder brother. No, we have done nothing.
Wan Qin too, he was begging for his life. Brother Gao, I was also forced into this by that scum from Baixiao. I am also one victim, really has nothing to do with me.
Injustices have their origin, and the debts to whom they correspond, not, I have no interest in you. Even Mir, with one more movement, you gave another shot, directly blew Yan Kai's head off. Blood splashed on Wan Qinua's face. She was completely left stunned. How brutal this person. Definitely not a student, common university. Baixiao has been in the business for decades. Does not even dare to move like this. Really, the most important thing is that the gaze of this young is indifferent. It really is like if you crushed two insects on the edge of the street. You raised Sub Bangwan, who was unconscious, from the sofa. You turned around and asked, what happened here tonight? If someone asks, do you know what you have to say, right? The two subordinates stayed stunned for a moment. They did not know that answer for a long time. But Wan Qinoa responded without hesitation and was Baixiao, Zhan Kai, who had an argument. Janai angrily went up to get a gun, and he killed Baixiao and then committed suicide to avoid punishment. The two subordinates nodded quickly. Yes, exactly. You nodded your head, you were satisfied, hugging his Bangwan. Actually, although someone I would investigate, nothing would happen to you. The worst that could happen is that you waste a little spiritual energy, throw 2 spells to erase memory, only that you find it a little annoying. After that, you left Wan Qinao, looked at Wan Kai, and Baixiao, who were lying in a pool of blood, swallowed deeply. You took Bangwan back to the store barbecue, you left her there. Then you left. Even though you are not a bloodthirsty person, you've been in the Xiao Nantian's world for 2,000 years. The people you have deleted are not less than 800, but 1,000. For you, these 2 bullies are not even worth it. Returning to the Rose Garden Villa, it was already at 2:30. You took a shower and came back sleeping. Maybe it was because of the connection spiritual that affected your mood. Last night, you slept until 10 o'clock tomorrow before waking up. Today is the end of the week. Su Suyan and Hyantang were at home. They saw you get up. Janan ran quickly to you. Brother Dali, why did you get up so late today? You don't usually get up at 5 or 6. You pretended to yawn and you answered, it's the weekend, so I'm going to sleep a little longer. Then you extend your hand and caressed Helian's head Tang. Then you turned around and left to the bathroom to roast. But this gesture of sudden affection made the little one John Tang's face blushed, and she will instantly warm up. She always is so peculiar it felt a little uncontrolled. I don't know why, Susuyan Jan saw how kind you were to Hyantang and felt an indescribable discomfort in her heart. She thought in silence, perhaps I'm really that annoying. Actually, this is a common gesture for you, you do unconsciously. You have a younger companion in the small world of Nantes, who like you is nothing special, but she tries hard to overcome. This partner has a similar height to Hyantang, also is quite peculiar. Every time, it is always find you caress her head to show friendship with her. With time, you got used to doing it. Talking about that, although the earth is pretty safe, you miss the little heavenly world. After all, you lived there for more than 2,000 years, and you have left many friends and memories. After washing, Hylian Tank jumped like a bunny and took you to the kitchen, and there was a hearty breakfast on the table. Look, Brother Dali, this is what Susuyan asked Aunt to prepare you. This morning, this is Hinyan Tang trying to set you up with Susuyanyan. But Susuyanyan continues with her girlish attitude, spoiled girl who doesn't deign to say a kind word. She raised her delicate Zhonggras schism neck. Yan Fan, thank you for saving us yesterday. From now on, you can stay here the time you want. You took a shrimp dumpling and you put it in your mouth and then said indifferently, I haven't said I want to stay here. What do you mean? Do I have to beg you? Every time you go down, you trample a few steps at night. I always close the door with key. Also secretly, you threw away the ingredients I had in the refrigerator. If it weren't for some special reasons, do you think I want to live here? I heard you gave yourself a lot of trouble yourself. Susuyanyan was furious. What do you care if you stay or not? I would love for you to move in tonight. After finishing speaking, he turned around, and Hyantang went up the stairs angrily. Who was standing next to him smiled bitterly. I said, Brother Dalali, it won't be that you and theirs have opposite energies. Why they fight as soon as they see each other? He responds with seriousness. There is a possibility, in fact. After breakfast, you went out for a walk dog. The dog, of course, is the dragon black man who takes care of Susuyan. Originally, the nanny should take it, but since that you moved here, that job has fallen upon you. Over time, and you have become friends. Every time he sees you, wag your tail. Hyun Tang is with you today to walk the dog. The two of them walk through the picturesque Rose Garden residential complex.
She looked at Eon and said, "Eon Lo, we found ourselves on the street during the winter break of the first year. Former owner was a pervert.
He mistreated all his days. Susuyan, seeing him so miserable, she decided to take it home to take care of him." You nodded your head, stunned. When returning at night, He Shantang told his Susuyan that she was your bad mood. "Why don't you cook tomorrow morning? You could do a bowl of noodles to give to Dalaj. What do I have to cook for him? I'm crazy." After all, Dalaj saved us, and also Uncle Su and Aunt Yao. This is a great debt of gratitude.
Susuyan linked her arm with hers.
He was just lucky. Nothing more, Susuyan. I think that the reason why Dalen didn't accept it is that he has no sincerity in expressing your gratitude. How much does a breakfast cost? Also, my aunt bought it. What more do you want to show gratitude? Perhaps you want me to offer myself in soul and body? I don't have intention to do it, where you have taken your mind. What I mean is that you prepare breakfast yourself. This will definitely touch the heart of Dali. Listening to her voice, Susunyan began to reflect, reluctantly accepted. The next morning, Susunyan went looking for it again, tutorials, and asked Aunt. After much effort, she managed to make a noodle dish with tomato and egg, but she realized that you had already left. Almost made her angry to death. You had breakfast on the street food, also passed by the club. It turns out that a murder occurred. There, the club was effectively closed. On the front door, there was a seal which said temporarily suspended. However, you heard a series of screams coming from the interior. A fierce voice resounded in the hallway.
Bai Xiao has been deleted, Wan Chinoa. You are a woman. You think that you can keep the diamond today.
They have to sign, whether they sign or not. About 10 thugs were behind a man dressed in a suit. Most of the time, they had tattoos. They seemed to be all from the underworld.
Wan Chinoa was in the reception, staring fiercely at the suited man.
The hands of the band of the Four Seas have crossed the line. The diamond is now in my name. Quote, I won't sell it to you, even if I'm dead. If you have it guts, kill me. Do you really think I have fear?
This man, called Zhen Chang, approached
and grabbed her by the neck. He pointed to a contract that was in the reception. Sign it now. If not, I will send people to watch this place 24 hours a day, so you can't go anywhere for the rest of your life.
Very well. If you have guts, stay here every day. Who is afraid of whom? With a knocking sound, Sen Yang gave him a hard slap to Wan Chinua, sending her flying.
You dare not to show respect. Right now, I will let you know the power of our band from the Four Seas. Wan Chinoa shrank back.
The corner of her mouth was cracked, and red blood was gushing out.
What do you want?
Sen Yang stroked his chin with a malicious smile.
What do you want? What do you say, Wan Chinoa? Is it true that before you were forced by Bai Xiao, he has not changed lovers in all these years?
It seems that in all aspects, you should be fine, right? Wan Chinoa looked at Sen Chang with her teeth squeezed. She was so furious that she was shaking, but couldn't do anything.
At that moment, the main door of the Club Diamond slowly opened. Ahead, curious, you looked inside and wondered himself, what is happening here? In this moment, Wan Chino's pupils contracted. As if she had found her savior, she cried out with all her might forces, eagerness. Quickly, go, call the police. They want to kill me. Some thugs from the band of the Four Seas that, guarding the door, were about to kick you out, but when you hear Wan Chin screaming, they stopped you immediately. Sen Jiang pointed at you and said in a low voice, This boy must be from Bei's band. Take him inside. That's how you got in. Surrounded by several thugs of the band of the Four Seas, Wan Chinoa didn't dare to look you in the eyes, because her previous cry for help was actually using you. Sen Yang, I was in front of you, he asked with interest. Boy, you came to find Hang. Gino? What relationship do you have with her? You answered honestly. Me and her, what relationship I could have with her? I don't have no Sen Yang relationship.
He was clearly not satisfied with that answer. Hey, unrelated. I think you are the gigolo who she keeps in school. Right? Yang, after speaking, turned his gaze to Wan Chinoa. You are a great bun, carrying the men's money to the school, an old cow. Enjoy the tender grass, you really have talent. Bai Xiao has a green grass field above the head, right? Haha. Wang Chinoa shook her head vigorously, and she threw forward, she embraced with force.
Zhen Chang's leg, Brother Zheng's brother Sen, I beg you, let him go.
He has nothing to do with this. He is still a college student. Hearing that left you speechless. This woman can really act. The more she said that, the less he could let you go. So you had to act, a strategy in the light of completely shameless day.
Get out!
Sen Chan kicked her aside, then braced himself to teach you a lesson, to force her to sign the contract. But before that could raise the fist, you gave him a slap back. A bang resounded, as if they were throwing artificial fires. Sen Nenjiang flew out, along with its 2 front teeth. He slammed violently against the wall. It hurt so much that he couldn't get up. For a while, the thugs from the gang, the 4 Cs, were very frightened. They were not able to react for quite a while. Why is this boy so strong? Is he a superhero? Wang Chang felt relieved secretly. Seeing this, you approached, you looked straight at her coldly eyes, and you said, "You dare to use me?" I didn't want to do it. Wang Chang wouldn't admit it, of course. Instead, it showed an expression of confusion and innocence. At that moment, Zhen Yang's scream was heard. "Kill him!" About 10 thugs of the gang, from the 4 Cs, they launched themselves to obey, and you threw a scream. That scream contained a glimpse of true energy, formed a wave of visible shock to the naked eye. Made back off the gang thugs of the 4 Cs. 15 or 16 people fell to the ground. Blood was pouring from my ears, while the wailing did not cease. Some even fainted on the spot. Wan Chang also covered her ears, showing an expression of extreme agony. Luckily, he already turned his back. Otherwise, she might have died immediately. Zhen Chang was as far away as possible. With an expression of terror, he pointed at you. He repeated without stopping, "Impossible!" out loud. You threw him a sideways glance. "I told you to go, you understand? Come on, let's go quickly, go!" Sen Chan quickly led his group of thugs to escape. They did not dare to stay even a second. After that, everyone left. Wan Chang knelt down in front of you, full of gratitude. "Brother Fan, from now on, I will be your wife." "Go away, you dream big." After screaming angrily, you looked around. What is it, the situation here now? Where are the Baixiao thugs? Wan Chang replied with a weak voice. "Everyone is in the hospital." Hearing that makes you realize, turn to leave. "Then I'm leaving." Wait, Henan Chin suddenly thought of something and ran after you. "Brother Fan, and if you assume control of the white band, in our path to the end, who has the strongest fist is the one that rules. Since you eliminated Bai Xiao, he did not die accidentally. Then you are naturally the leader of the white gang. I also offer my shares in the club Manhwa without reservation. What do you think?" You answer with indifference. "It's not a big deal." Wan Cheng was stunned. The Manhwa Club is one of the great nightclubs in the Xicheng district. The collection of a night exceeds hundreds of thousands, in addition of the various food streets near the university city. Do you not know how many gangs all over Kings are jealous? But why does Evan seem so disinterested? Wan Chinoa thought, you didn't understand. So again explain the advantages of being the boss of a gang. Fan Ge, you just need to become the leader of our organization. After that, no one will dare to touch the barbecue of Limai. You shook your head. It's too complicated. Now I just want to study well. Wan Chinoa was a little speechless. Studying? It will really make me $1 million a month? Then you crossed your hands and smiled. If not, you could be the leader. After hearing that, Wan Chinoa was left stunned. What? Will I be the leader? Is not this club in your name? Being the leader is also well. Wan Chinoa was still a little doubtful. She altered the will of Bai Xiao. The diamond club of name fell into her hands, but had never thought about being a leader. After a moment, her eyes lit up, and she had an idea. Fang, what if I run the club of diamonds? I will give you half of the profits. But if something like today happens, you must come help me. Otherwise, I, being a girl, am helpless. It seems a little funny. You already have one age, and you still talk about girls. Forget it, as you wish, but don't bother me with. I don't have time for trivial things. I don't have enough time. Thanks, Wan Chinoa bowed repeatedly. I feel that follow someone as talented as you, I'm sure I'll have a future. Then she got your contact information, no? Much later, he voluntarily sent a payment, a total of 3 million. This is only half of the cash in the accounts of the Diamond Club. Can you imagine how much dirty money did Bai Xiao get in these years? Dominating Carefree near West, the city university exploiting the merchants? How much dirty money did he really get? Besides that, you also gave it to Hanan Chinese to a strange task. Help get yourself some fresh ghost hands in Lingnan because you like them and want to eat it every day. Few days after military training, the King's University hosted a sports competition.
Clinical class became especially lively. You continue as always, every day. You come, not that you are sleeping on the table, is simply submerged in read novels. The teacher wants to talk with you. She said that if you continue like this, you won't graduate. You always answer with evasiveness, and you never take things seriously. At that time, a pretty girl dressed in a blouse tied in a bow approached you with a form of registration. Colleague Yi Fan, for what project are you going to sign up? This girl, her name is Sang Sinran. She is the president of Clinical Class 2, originally from King Soy, and comes from a rich family. Sign up? I have no plans to sign up. San Shinran said in a manner very authoritarian. The counselor has stipulated. All the boys in the class must register in at least one project. Even Fanteo signed up in high jump. You can't be either an exception. A slight bitterness appeared at the corner of your lips. But I really have no interest. Forcing a cultivator of the Jennings stage participate in school games? What would happen if you accidentally broke a world record? Is not very problematic. Sang Shinran doesn't give up. You were so impressive during military training. You even defeated the instructor. Why is it so hard to convince you to participate in a sports event? Here is no push-ups at the sporting event. If I would have participated. Sang Ziran got so angry at your words that he squeezed teeth. The sub-leader, Lee San-min, intervened. Give it up, this kind of person. It is a typical lack of sense of honor collective. How selfish. Don't worry, leader. I already spoke with my colleagues, room, and those in the room next door. Some of them are already warned. The position of the second clinical group, we will defend it. Fei Zhao murmured in a voice lower to Sang Tachun. This sub-leader, really knows how to act. Sang Tachun was curious. And Fan is so good at doing push-ups, your resistance should be excellent. Why don't you want to participate in school games? It is clearly a great opportunity to stand out. Shinran gave him a grateful look. Thank you for supporting my Suan Min. Then she looked at you. Her gaze clearly showed a hint of satisfaction. This is what the counselor wants. Everyone has to register. If you don't sign up, I'll tell the counselor. After hearing this, you got a big headache. So you replied with impatience. Okay, then help me sign me up for any random one, okay? Okay, then don't disappear. At that moment, Sang Shinran finished talking and decided to return to her seat. She was hesitant about what event to force you to sign up for. However, Lee Sin-min approached and took a pen. He directly wrote your name on the 100 meters flat category. Zan was very surprised. Swan Min, what are you doing? Le Swan Min shrugged shoulders, did not say that any inscription was fine, but should be a strength competitor. This type of physical project should not be your strong, right? Lee Sin-min burst out mocking laugh. He can do it, I trust him. Of course you don't care about this. You just care how the plot will develop from the novel you are reading. There is another figure, beautiful, arrived, bringing a fragrance. You realized. It is Su Bangwan. Bangan has a look emaciated and his eyes a little red. Clearly hasn't slept it all night. She asked with doubts. Yafan, last night we… You waved your hand to interrupt. Last night, nothing happened. I don't trust you. After saying that, Sub Bangwan sat next to you with her beautiful eyes. They were red, showing sadness. It really is someone who finds it hard not to pity. Oh my God. Aside, Fei Zhuang listened to your conversation. Immediately, his imagination was unleashed. Difficult to express images emerged in his mind. He turned and said out loud to Sang Tachun, the word has spread. Yan Fan spent the night with the flower of the Department of Su. Upon hearing this, Sang Tachun's jaw fell to the ground. The news quickly reached Li Xuanin. He was so angry that he tore up his textbook. Bangwan is recognized as the flower from the Department of Medicine lately. He's thinking about how to flirt with her. He didn't expect Yanfan to act first. Bangwan is sitting next to you, talking without stopping. Recently, the Commission of Students have launched a support for the university entrepreneurship. I want to open a milk tea stand. Mom has worked too much. I want to win, same as next year's registration fee. You turned the page of the novel, and you answered superficially. Not bad. You are understanding. When she heard that Bangwan lowered her head, and her face she blushed. Then I'll bring you tea milk every day. I don't like it too sweet. In that case, we can make it a little bit sweet. Can't bear it more. Turn on the phone. He was about to warn his Bangwan to not have excessive thoughts about herself, but when the words were in my mouth, I saw the desperate and hopeful look of Bangan. Suddenly, I couldn't help but feel compassion. So in the end, I could only say,
Take it if you want. Bangwan finally smiled happily with her eyes shiny. They curved like a stocking moon. After a day of school, the classmates were discussing the sporting event the day after tomorrow. And you, with your hands in your pockets, you left. You were preparing directly from the campus to go to his Bangwan's house to have dinner. Lime barbecue shop has now been turned into Lime restaurant. After Chao's death, no one is left to dare to cause trouble here. After dinner, you returned to the garden villa of roses. You discovered that Suzanne and Hyun Tang was not the house. It was completely dark. You turned on the light. You saw a stranger with a scar on the face sitting on the couch. He looked at himself with a playful expression. You asked calmly, "Do you want tea?" The man with the scarred face was left stunned. What's wrong with this guy? Normally, if a stranger appears in home, it should be something to worry about. Nah. You went to the kitchen to make yourself a cup of tea, then opened at the mouth and said, "I advise you to go, and wherever you came from, don't look for yourself problems." At that time, the man of the scarred face showed up. Hey, I am Tu Tao. I've been in this business for more than 10 years. I was not afraid to get here. You had an expression, indifferent. You didn't react at all before his name. The man of the face scarred asked with curiosity, "You've not heard about me?" You took a sip of tea and you asked with doubt, "Are you famous?" Quote, "I am the best of the 10 heroes Tut Tao of Hangbei Kwa. Your grandpa's already old, and he still feels like a great hero searching death." A frozen flash crossed the Tut Tao eyes. He threw a punch at you. Immediately, this punch was buzzing fast like lightning. He moved from the room to the kitchen door. Distance of 10 meters was exceeded in an instant. Tuto possessed the maximum power of the external style, surpassed Arsavan by 5 or 6 times at least. But at approaching his goal, everything became cloudy before his eyes, because suddenly you vanished into the air. Tut Tao seemed surprised by hitting the void. He quickly turned around and realized that you were sitting on the couch blowing the steam from the teacup. You said with indifference, "I don't care if your name is Tut Tao or if your grandmother calls you Tuto. Get out quickly or I'll kill you." Clearly did not take this threat seriously. Instead, he was stunned by your short age. He couldn't believe your ability to light movement would have reached such a level. Inside himself suddenly felt insecure, but could not complete the mission. Could not give explanations to the head of the family. At that very moment, at that time, Susuyan Yan and Hichian Tan were returning from a walk hand in hand. Tut Tao through the living room window. Suddenly, he smiled widely. "Are they your girlfriends? You are very lucky with the women. But if you don't come tonight with me, I will eliminate them all. You've got combat skills, they do not, and do not. You can't protect them 24 hours a day, right?" Holding a cup of tea, you sigh in silence. "For my part, I have always hated that they threaten me. The man is the strongest warrior in the world, is the maintained member who occupies the first place in the Duan family. But when he was given the task of assassinating a college student, in the following second directly entered the earth and reincarnated." At that moment, Han Tan and Susuyanyan were entering through the door. But they realized that you were not in the living room. You were in the yard digging candied ginger with a shovel. Han Tan asked curiously, "Brother, what are you doing? You have covered the earth very well." After trampling it a little, you answered, "Nothing, I just planted some vegetables." Nobody really knows what happened a moment ago. The only one who witnessed the whole process was the Black Dragon, shivering in his doghouse. The next day, the event took place. Opening of the Sports University Games. The stadium of the university was sunny and full of people. Bangwan really brought you tea. You received it with milk and drank it in one gulp. She then placed the empty cup on one side. Bangwan showed a smile, bright and sweet. She praised you. How great you have lung capacity. But while she spoke suddenly, the audience broke out into an uproar, drowning out the words, lung capacity. In that moment, the little fat boy and Santachun just approached when they heard that. They immediately surprised. I said that Ye Fan is the flower of the South Department. You are a little too bold. Two for a long time talks about this topic. Bangwan looked confused, and you gave them a look. Go away. The two of them sat next to you, Fang. The little fat man looked at you with envy. Just a moment ago, I was throwing a check out the list of participants our class. Why do you participate in 2 events? Hearing that, you frowned a little, somewhat confused. But also, you seemed like it didn't matter. You looked at Bangwan next to you and you asked, Bangwan, you signed up? No, I signed up. My physical condition is not good since I was little. You interrupted immediately. Then go and ask me for a portable charger for my phone. My phone doesn't have much battery. She got up. Okay. The other boys of the class felt very angry when they saw this scene. He dares to treat the flower of the Department of Medicine as if she was a servant. It is really too much. The deputy director of the smooth class, Ankamin, stood up angrily, and concern in his eyes spread the hand immediately to stop his Bangwan. Doesn't he have legs? He can't go and ask for it himself? There is no problem. I will go to the residence quickly. After saying that, Bangwan left running from the stadium. Lanin tightened his fists, and anger called jealousy arose in him. Fang, the little fat man, asked, Seriously, Zhen Fan perhaps has saved the life of the flower of the department south. Otherwise, how come he brought you milk tea and helped you with the errands? You look surprised at Fang, the little fat man. How do you know about this? After the end of the opening ceremony, began officially the sports competition school. You signed up for 2 events by the monitor. One of them, the shot put, is about to start. More than 40 people are participating in the shot put. Most of them are quite robust students. On average, they are strong and corpulent and fierce-looking. You are the only one who looks thinner with clothes and fuller without it. Su Bangwan, very attentive, came to your side and helped you take the jacket, Sunjun. The club president shot put looked at you with contempt. With that weak appearance that you have to compete. I tell you, sister, you should look for a strong boyfriend that protects you, like me, for example. Shot put competition will start soon. You are the first in compete, even though you already controlled at the maximum of your strength. You could throw it with ease and reached about 20 meters of distance. In your heart, immediately, you thought things weren't going well anymore. You have no power anymore. The place exploded in murmurs. Even the judges remained open-mouthed, looking at you. Finally, the results came out. 21 meters, 41 centimeters. Broke the national record. Shot put field was left in a total silence in an instant. Freshman broke the national shot put record. This made everyone feel that it was unreal. The president of the club of shot put, Sanjun, sat down, hit the ground. His faith collapsed. You thought you could get out of this situation. However, a group of masters soon approached with great fury. Among them was also the deputy director of the Office of City Sports Department. Mahjong looked confused and asked, Hello, friend. The 41 meters from before is you who threw it? You know there are so many looks over you. You can't hide it from yourself. Then you replied, Yes, that's right. Can you tell me how you did it? You raised your hands. I'm not pretty sure I just went up without thinking about it. With just one move, could break the national record. You are a true genius. At that time, the class 2 of the clinic and the neighboring class came to see what the situation was like. A voice was about to develop. Family arrived. The assistant director asked, Talking alone. You turned around and you looked and discovered that it was old director Wen and his granddaughter, Wen Kingland. Mahan respectfully approached. What instructions does the former director have? He got straight to the point. Jafan, it's not an ordinary college student. He is a warrior. Hearing this, the pupils of Mahjong contracted. After a moment, the group immediately understood instantly. The group of warriors is really scary. It's not an exaggeration to say that they are a group of supermen. But the Olympic champions are the most weak among them. Old Wend. I remember that the Ancient Martial Arts Association has clear rules. Warriors cannot participate in worldly sporting events. You are right. However, this boy, Li Fan, is a bit special. I'll explain it to you later. Your colleagues are looking at you with enthusiasm, as if you were a monkey. That moment, Wen's authoritative voice arrived. Everyone got nervous. Jafan, it's almost noon. I invite you to eat. A question mark appeared over the heads of the watching crowd that the old director invites a new one student to eat? Have they heard wrong? Kingland came to you with displeasure. Hey, Grandpa is calling you. After saying that, he noticed his Bangwan your side. Thought to herself, what a pretty girl. Is she? This guy's girlfriend is so beautiful. You lazily asked, what will we eat? Old Wen? The students opened the mouth wide open. I thought I heard wrong. Called the director old. Is he crazy or what? Seeing this, Wen Kingland was about to explode. However, Wen smiled and made a gesture with his hand. Steam 3 is not bad. Black triangle to the right. Let's eat this then. In the dining room, Wen is sitting in front of you. He smiles at you when he sees you eat uncontrolled. Friend, you have the strength of a great teacher. Your condition physics makes even a champion Olympic surrender. Why would you want to participate in school games? Wen Kingland replied reluctantly. And why else is it to do theater?
And for what else? The yellow crossing? I didn't want to participate, but our boss class and counselor are very annoying. Wen-jo smiled bitterly. I see. I will speak with the director of your school department. Your situation is quite really special. Then, thanks, good Wen friend. Lately someone has been following you? You reflected a moment. You still decided to keep in secret to the leader of those 10 heroes. Hide the matter from Tu Tao. So you shook your head. Wen frowned while stroking his beard. Did not. It should be like this. The Dututan family acts harshly and will take revenge on anyone grievance. Should not have been delayed. In summary, friend, you must have been careful lately. The Donian family has not let you get away easily. You smiled and nodded. The liveliest part of the afternoon is undoubtedly the men's 100 meters race. You ran forward at a pace neither fast nor slow. You finally got the second place. At that time, 2 beautiful girls went through the plastic track. Han Tang pointed at Yan with surprise and shouted, Susuyan, look, it's not brother. Susuyan took a look and felt surprised. Han Tang pushed her gently with her shoulder. Susuyan, I didn't expect the brother not only had a lot of strength, but also is very fast. You'll be lucky if you marry him in the future. Al Wei, hearing this, Susuyan blushed in an instant. What nonsense are you talking about? Somewhere in the city center, there is an imposing building. Next to the entrance, there is a huge stone in which a great character is written that means martial art. Here is found the headquarters of the King's branch of the Ancient Martial Arts Association. In an office at the top of headquarters building, the vice president, Lian Zhongyi, is receiving the patriarch of the Doan Rong family holds a photo with an angry expression. The vice president Li Xiang, is this student called Yi Fan broke my son's foot in public and also incapacitates one of my family's supported members. What will happen if he graduates and enters society? Li Zhongyi sits in a chair and drinks tea, but his focus is different from Durong. At 19 years old, external energy is also formidable. This kind of strength really should not be underestimated. Old Liang, when do you plan to arrest this guy, as I understand? The boy has not only hit someone in public but also participated in the school games and broke the national record. This is an open violation of the regulations of the Association of Martial Arts. Lian Zhang frowned. It is true. We definitely must pay attention to this. Later, we will have a meeting to discuss it. At seeing this, Duan Ron also ran out words. In the last few days, could not contact Tu Tao, so he had no other option. So, without worrying about his image, led to this matter to the association. By the way, old Li Gang, I have heard that senior officials of the Yasukuni Warrior Society have arrived in our country. Old Duan, you have good sources of information. Who will be, what they come to do to our country. The so-called Warrior Society, Yasukuni, is a powerful group of Sakura country. It is said that they have recruited inside to the strong of all Sakura country, have cultivated to more than 100 warriors of internal energy, are not few masters of transformation even. There are great martial masters, legendaries. You don't need to know this. First, come back to the Yi Fan matter. Tomorrow, I will send several supervisors to check it. After Don Ron left, Lian Yongxi massaged his temples with an expression of concern. However, these days you've been having a bad time in Su's family because Susuya doesn't even know how to return a favor or practice her culinary abilities. She cooks you breakfast every day, but as she has been raised as a rich girl, she doesn't have any culinary ability. What she cooks is basically dark food that could kill anyone who dares to eat it. Near the noon, your phone received a message from Wen Kingland. She sent a location. She said her grandfather wants to invite you to his home. It's just the weekend, and you don't have nothing to do. So, you decide to go out and take a taxi. But you barely get in the car. An all-terrain vehicle follows you closely. A young man dressed in uniform points towards Adante and says, Team Bo, is he Yi Fan? In the back seat of the car, there is a corpulent man with arms crossed. He closes his eyes and speaks distracted. Yes, follow him. An hour later, the taxi circles the beautiful Lake Sisi, stops in front of a private mansion at the foot of Yuang Mountain. At this time, the driver shows an expression of envy. This is the Huxley Mansion, one of the 10 most luxurious mansions in Kingstown. It is said to be worth several hundred millions. You don't consider it important. You walk towards the front door. After all, it's just a small, worldly mansion, cannot be compared to the door of his Chunan Pujan temple. With this, when a housekeeper arrived at the door, Wen Kingland comes out of the room, watches you from top to bottom, thinks,
You have come with empty hands. Do not bring something to offer. You really don't understand manners. You just make a gesture of assent to this older sister. You don't even look at her directly. You ask her, where is old Wen? Wen Qinglan feels a discomfort repressed in her heart. She turns around and go up to the second floor. Follow me. Second floor of the villa is a Wenzhou Chinese restaurant. Wen invites you to sit, smiling at the table full of delicacies. Friend, I don't know what you like to eat. I have prepared a little of the 8 styles cooking. I don't know what you think about it. You sit confidently in your place. You take a piece of fish with the chopsticks. You put it in your mouth. You chew it and commented, So. Good. Wen didn't expect you to be so familiar. Smiled awkwardly when Qinglan muttered discontentedly, Really? You don't consider yourself a stranger at the table. The good old man was trying to chat with you casually, trying to find out your background, just because he thinks you are an action of great potential. Did not pass a long time. The main door of the restaurant was pushed hard. Several guards were unable to stop the intruders. Wen immediately got up. Annoying, but seeing the newlyweds when they arrived, his brow furrowed immediately. You are Wojang? Wojang crossed his fists once. Powerful and robust energy emanated from his body. Sir Wen is a pleasure. Wen had a somewhat serious expression on his face. I was not hoping that the martial arts would have grown so much in these years. A small boss of supervisors even have a skill at the summit level of external power. After Wu Jiang finished greeting, pointing to you, who are still eating and drinking at the table, he is Yifan, right? I am under orders to take you back to be questioned. Hearing this, Wen shook his head firmly. He is my guest, is also my student. I can't let you take him just like that. So, old man, are you trying to rape the President Li Zhang's decision? Do not forget, you are the permanent director from our branch, Wan said with a smile, casually pulled out an order of arrest paper from his pocket that had a bright red seal of the Martial Association. Seeing this order of arrest, Wen Qinglan knew that things were not going well.